together. I'm Jeff. That is Tom on Twitter. It is at J Cameron Show. If you're driving about town today, good on you. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. If you're watching on YouTube, that is to say, Warchant TV, we appreciate you as well. Hello to everybody in the chat. Man, right off the bat, my man gets it out of the way. Beat me to it, Tom Lang, I should say, that I was about to say. And you know I already called you today, so I don't look like a jerk. But Steve is in the chat, and he is wishing Tom a happy birthday. And so we all join in wishing my dear friend, Tom Lang, producer extraordinaire, a very, very happy birthday, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Steve. Happy birthdays with money are extra special. We appreciate that. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. Closing in on 40, my man. Closing in on 40. Damn near 40. It's I remember doing those shows for you when you were damn near 40. And now here I am.
If you recall back then, Matt Millar was reminding me for the better part of my 30s that I was rapidly approaching 40. Told me I was, quote unquote, damn near 40 when I turned 33. And I remember saying, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, you're done. We're leaving the early 30s. You're damn near 40. And that became a running theme. You, sir, however, are, in fact, damn near 40. And that is absolutely true.
What's wild is the first year I met you, you were 38. So now I sit here.
At the age that I was when we met.
That's a little strange. Don't know about that one, but here we are.
I have felt that you were almost 40 for the better part of 15 years. So it doesn't, now that you're actually almost 40, that seems about right, because you were in many ways an old soul in your 20s that felt very 40-ish at that time. So now it's just, you're entering into the age you were always meant to be based on your overall demeanor and way, worldview, if you will, and way of comportment. I think that's right.
Well, it just means that I'm either going to act like I'm in my 60s in this upcoming decade, or I'm going to act like I'm in my 20s. You know, one of our friends, Pete, has a great saying on the golf course. If he's on a par 5 and he hits a poor drive, he said, well, it's not a poor drive. I just decided to hit my third shot first. You see, so as long as I hit my drive later in this hole, I'll be fine. But I just decided to hit my third shot.
Well, I know that you've got family coming into town for your birthday, and that should be delightful. And really, this should be a birthday weekend free of hassle, Tom. So if I were you, I wouldn't watch Florida State Miami. Ordinarily on a Friday, this kind of a week, yeah, sure, it's Libations Friday. Sure, it's loosey-goosey. But ordinarily, it's Florida State Miami on a Saturday that is what has, I should say, captured the minds of everybody. Very little thought this week about Florida State Miami. I began the week by talking about that very thing, which is that we have been robbed of one of the special times of year. We've been robbed by this pathetic performance from Florida State, a program obviously in dire straits right now. And so it's hard to get excited about any one game, really, including rivalry games, when you're so hyper-focused on everything that has gone wrong with this program, this team this year. And I am sad about that. I had one of my brothers call me earlier today and ask about whether or not I was excited for Florida State Miami. And I said, what do you think? He said, yeah, no, I didn't think so, but I thought I'd check in on you. I think it was really more of a mental health check than anything else. I think he realizes that it has been a long year and we're just past the halfway point. And it has been. So, you know, I don't think you would have me break down the matchup of Florida State Miami. We will tomorrow, Tom and myself, I think, a pregame show, 9 a.m. as usual, for Florida State Miami. And he will do a postgame show, a postmortem on Florida State Miami with Gene Williams following the game, and then we'll pretend it never happened. We'll just move on with our lives.
I will say, Gene tends to request the post-game show begins early in the fourth quarter, as in at some point in the fourth quarter if it gets out of hand. So be alert on that in case you want to come by and make sure that you enjoy a nice little group therapy session when it's all over, all said and done. We can watch some of those those primetime games together, the West Coast games we can watch together as we're doing the post-game show. But if it's ugly, like bad, then in the fourth quarter, check out Warchant TV. Chances are we'll have fired up the mission.
Tom, this is a funny story, and I think it's applicable to Florida State currently, the season that we're having. I have a dear friend, I've mentioned him on the show over the years, that Matt Britton, that his other team is from his home state where he was born, and that is Iowa. Loves Iowa. And we have been talking about Kirk Ferentz, the head coach at Iowa, since he took over for the great Hayden Fry. Ferentz took over in 99. And it took him a couple years to get the program turned around. But turned around, he did, that program. And they went from 1-10 his first year. He had inherited an 8-loss program, so they were bad. But by his third year, he won 7 games. Then he won 11 and went to the Orange Bowl. Then he won 10 and 10 and 7 and 6 and 6 and 9 and 8 and 10. And anyhow, he just went chugging right along with a bunch of 7, 8, 9, 10 win seasons. And his contention has always been, look, you can fire Kirk Ferentz if you want to. And I hear people talk about that all the time. But the truth of the matter is, if we're realistic about Iowa football, you're not going to get anybody to come into Iowa and do much better than 8 to 10 wins on average over a 10-year span. That's about the best you can hope for at Iowa. And I always thought that was a realistic view of his second program. But one night we were talking, and we may have had some beverages. And I said, well, there was a stretch that if you had wanted to get rid of Kirk Ferentz, you could have. And he said, well, when would that have been? And I said, well, there was that 2011, 2012, somewhere in their stretch. And he's like, well, one of those years, I know they won 7 games. And I said, and the other, they won 4. And he was like, that's not true. And I said, no, they had like a 3 or 4 win season, Matt. And he said, no, they didn't. I said, oh, yes, they did. They most assuredly did. And I remember thinking specifically about you because that was your chance to move on from Kirk Ferentz, who frankly is boring. And we were going back and forth about this.
And then he said, no, they didn't. And you said, yes, they did.
Right. And that's, of course, how it happened.
He said, no way, that didn't happen. And he said, that's right. we have the internet. Let's go confirm.
I did. I said, well, there's no sense in me yelling at you. I can't convince you that this happened, but I know what will, and that is the fact that it did. So let's go look at it. And we did. And it turns out he went 4-8 in 2012. I was right. At the time, I thought it was 3-9. So I was wrong about an aspect of my point, but the overriding point was correct. They went 4-8 in 2012. Out of nowhere. They just were terrible. Terrible. And I believe that he had blocked it out of his mind. He didn't want to believe that it was possible that Iowa football was that bad ever at any point in his super fandom. And I'm going to also block this season out of my mind. I'm going to pretend it never happened. Many moons from now, we're going to be having a discussion about Mike Norvell's career at Florida State. And he'll be 17 years in with a couple of national titles under his belt. And I'm going to say to somebody, well, it's been a hell of a run. If we wanted to grade out all of our coaches, I would say Mike is, going to be right there in second. Now he's moved ahead of Jimbo with that second national title. And we'll be having this discussion. Somebody said, yeah, but you do remember the 1 year. No, what are you talking about? And they're going to go, well, you remember the year. I mean, God, that was awful. It's hard to forget that season. I'm like, what season are you talking about? I mean, I don't mind the rebuild. The 5-7 didn't bother me that much because he was just changing and flipping the culture, and it takes time to rebuild. Remember, he inherited a nightmare. Jeff, after the undefeated season, They went 2-10 and got blown out by a lot of bad teams. Most importantly, they got blown out by their rivals. 2-10. What is this you're speaking of? They never went 2-10. Hell, he won 3 games in the COVID season. I don't even know what you're talking about. Jeff, in 2024, the Noles went 2-10, sir. They beat lowly Cal 14-9, and then they beat Charleston Southern. That's it. This is absurd. I can't believe you would come here and tell me that the great Mike Norvell has gone 2-10 at any point at Florida State. This is crazy person talk. That's the way it's going to sound. I just fast forwarded to my living room many years from now when I'm in denial that 2-10 occurred. I will have blocked it from my mind the way my buddy Matt did about Iowa going 4-8. That's what I'm going to do. And I suggest you do the same. I suggest you find ways to enjoy your Saturdays that don't involve Florida State football, because it is maddening. And what's going to take place this Saturday is going to be hard to stomach. I could handle what I thought was about to happen against Clemson, didn't like it, and no, the Noles did not cover, but they didn't get blown out in that game. They were, by the time we got to the fourth quarter, Tom, of that game, I was like, okay, looks like we're not going to be on the wrong end of total humiliation.
Right. So
I have a sense of relief.
What you're saying to yourself is mission accomplished. It's not a 40-point game to start the fourth quarter. And that's just so damn sad. But it's true. We all kind of did that. We're like, well, look here. You could backdoor a score in here and make this thing in at the throes of history 5 years from now, 10 years from now, a wholly forgettable night. Rather than we all know here that this game wasn't nearly as close as the score indicated, but it doesn't look that bad on the ledger when we're reviewing the series history in 2030. We're kind of on the precipice of doing that. And it still lived within that range instead of some of the unholy beatings like when Dabo came to town in Willie's one year that he hosted a game against Clemson. Like that was one where close as it was through one quarter of play, dear God, it was every bit the butt kicking that the scoreboard would have you believe, 4 or 5 years from now.
I can't. I'm going to watch. I really wish it wasn't in prime time. I wish they were kicking this off old school Florida State, Miami. Noon. We used to always play at noon. Late October and noon. I never liked the noon kickoffs back then. Always drove me nuts. I was young and I had partied the day and the night away the day before, and I was dragging ass by the time we kicked it off at noon and needed to sleep. Needed to rest up, but they didn't give us that opportunity, and no, we just forged on. In fact, the way you coped with it back in the day, you just opened another beer. That is exactly what you did. I can vividly remember walking into a Florida State-Miami game at Doak Campbell Stadium, all of us hiding liquor in our waistbands, all of us hoping to avoid the dreaded eye contact with the security guard who's looking at you as if you're shady and he needs to pat you down. Turning to my buddy Steven, and only to see him puke on himself, quite literally. Puke on himself as we were walking into the stadium.
Well, he's gone for today. All right, we press forward.
It's like losing a fellow soldier.
Yeah, that's right.
They got Tom. Keep going. We'll talk about it later.
He'd want you to keep going. You press forward. Damn it. It could have been you, and he would have gone in, so you press forward.
It's probably the origins of Cat 5 Maintain. Was the day that my buddy Steven puked on himself walking into the Florida State-Miami game. You can't unsee that sort of thing, and you're reminded in the moment, we should dial it back a little bit, guys. I think we've been drinking for 18 hours in a row. It's probably not good. Look at Steven. He just puked on himself. This doesn't seem healthy.
Man, we never needed, at least my friend group never needed a Cat 5 Maintain. Not for any reason like that. The funniest thing that ever happened was, unfortunately, in an empty Doak Campbell Stadium, because it was the lost decade, this was Boston College getting first down after first down to close the game out on a cold night.
The slowest quarterback of all time running a read option.
With a quarterback who ran a 5.5 40-yard dash. And
maybe. That's kind.
Yeah, if that. and my buddy Chris, show contributor Chris, got angry enough that he took a soda bottle with no alcohol in it whatsoever, took a soda bottle and spiked it into the ground, but it hit the corner of the aluminum bleacher and it shot off like a rocket. And because out comes the gas, and it's like a bad science experiment, and it hits another fan right in the butt cheek, and he turns around.
It's the butt cheek and not the head.
No, but there are words, and my buddy is yelling back at the fan. I know it's my fault. He goes, you suck. He goes, I know I do. And that was us. We didn't need a Cat 5 for vomit on a T-shirt. We needed a Cat 5 for rage tolerance because we were less than mediocre. And now I can't imagine being that 19-year-old kid in the stands at Doak Campbell Stadium wondering if we're going to win a second game in a gosh darn season. Woo, almost.
Close on Libations Friday out the gates. I'll tell you this, we should welcome show contributor Chris back at some point and have him perhaps lead a lesson in how to maintain and how to I think de-intensify, right? De-escalate situations by owning the moment.
Well, and in those moments, what we can teach our younger selves is when you're no good to begin with, what's the point of the rage? You know, that's the thing. If the road you took led you here, what was the point of the rule? You know?
Yeah, this is my frustration, Tom. Honestly, that actually makes me angry just thinking about it. I agree with you. I will not be enraged. I say that. You've been around me for Florida State, Miami. Mm-hmm. You know that transforms me. That turns me into somebody I'm largely not these days. You know, now that I'm a father and a husband and, you know, my kids, that's my focus. I don't get as angry as I used to get about football games. But, man, there's something about it. It's the colors, the clash. The young me, the being in the stands for wide rights, plural, it elicits something.
Do you remember Rocky 2? It's the training. Okay, so the training montage, he's doing the sit-ups, and the trainer is slapping him in the gut. He's just slapping him 1, 2 as he's doing sit-ups, and you can see.
He just comes up, pop, pop.
Yeah, the blood vessels popping in his stomach because he's got to build his body up for the punishment that's coming. My roommates, I would ask them to do that to my shoulders and my traps before every Miami game because of the beating I would receive from you during said Miami game for palms on shoulder, punches to the shoulder, because on a Miami Saturday, you do dial it up to 12, as the kids say.
So I'm curious at this point, when I watch on Saturday night, tomorrow night, because right now, as I sit here today, calmer than you are, I'm all right. I'm okay. I don't feel a growing sense of rage about what's to come. I have resigned myself to the fact that this is going to happen, and I've seen us do this to Miami just 2 years ago in that stadium that will be tomorrow. It was 45-3. Could have been worse. We dialed it back late.
You can hold on to that briefly and say when they score a touchdown tomorrow night very early in this game, it's the first touchdown they've scored on us in that building since 2020, since the COVID year.
There you go.
So you got that, and then you don't have much else, but at least you have that card to play.
It's just so sad. We've been robbed of a sacred weekend and a sacred rivalry. We've all been robbed. We don't get to participate in this year's game. I say we just don't play it. I'll go. Now, let me ask you, would you forfeit if you could and not play it? No, because you're a man. And I agree with that. I wouldn't forfeit either. But it would be easier. It would be a lot easier to not have to watch it. Sweet Jesus. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
The world.
Happy birthday, dear Tom. Happy birthday to you.
That sounds like a home for the people that are unwell, just randomly in their bedrooms. You hear them walking down the hallway. Richard,
I did it intentionally. I was too busy laughing, and I wasn't going to give the happy birthday to you. I wasn't going to give you the full throated
Goodness gracious.
birthday. Chef Cameron Show on a Libations Friday. Loosey-goosey as it is. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 88 this afternoon. Under clear skies, winds out of the southeast around 5 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight, lows around 62. High temperatures reach up to 88 tomorrow. Bright sunshine expected. Daytime highs approaching 87 Sunday under clear skies. 83 Monday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 85.
Construction services. T-Bar.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Bar Enterprises. Roofing and construction services. T-Bar. T-Bar.com.
CCC 1331204.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves, but don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. You two at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
no.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I hope you're right, Seminole Wind 8792. I hope you are correct. He says, we're going to show up tomorrow. I know everybody thinks I'm crazy and on that overly optimistic fringe, but I feel like even if we lose, it'll be close. I just have a feeling UM is going to wet their pants.
See, he changed that from we to wet, but I think it's better that they wee their pants. That sounds Scottish and funny.
You know, I have said this week when asked about could I provide a measure of hope, and all I've said is that their defense isn't great. Maybe you can put together some drives. Maybe Mike will be imaginative. Maybe the semblance of a run game that we had against Duke carries over against Miami. Doesn't seem likely. In fact, I wouldn't predict that that is going to happen. I think Florida State's going to have a very hard time blocking Miami. I don't know how healthy this offensive line is. I'm curious just to see who's going to start for Florida State on the offensive line. But let's say they have a modicum of success and they're able to run it a little bit and keep their defense off the field some. You could catch a break, early turnover. I mean, Football's a funny game. People do fumble sometimes when being tackled. You might, maybe a stroke of luck there, maybe a special teams play or something like that, like you had last week against Duke. Who knows? Maybe you get a big special teams play. I say that because the only way that this could get interesting in my mind, and I don't think it's going to happen. I keep reiterating that. I don't want to give false promise to somebody. But I would tell you that the only way I think it can happen is if you get it into the second half and that uncomfortable feeling, that pall hangs over the stadium. Why are we fooling around with Florida State here? What are we doing? This is not what I had planned, man. I thought we were going to win by 50, and it's 21-21 midway through the third quarter, and they seem like they're kind of confident. I don't like this at all. This is uncomfortable. And, maybe, just maybe, game pressure, as it's known, becomes a thing. Maybe it happens. Maybe it's that, you're watching and you think, well, look at here.
They're laughing at us. Guys, they're laughing at us. It's a tie game and they're laughing at us. Oh my God. And you feel the pressure. You don't apply any pressure on Miami until it gets to the second half.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, they won't be afraid unless it's in the second half. But at that point, that's how a building can turn against a team.
Well, that's how upsets happen. Big ones where teams are 3+ touchdown favorites over others. Is you don't do a good job early on in the game of convincing them that the spread was there for a reason, that you are what Vegas thinks you are. You are what your record says you are. You are this sorry collection of football players that have had no success this year. We are the undefeated team with a Heisman Trophy quarterback playing at home. That has to be sent. That message has to be sent when you're the favorite pretty early in the game. You can't have a bunch of nonsense happen because you'll let somebody begin to think that they're not the team that Vegas pegged as a 21.5-point underdog, but rather they are the mighty Seminoles, the one that went undefeated a year ago, the one with the spear famously on the side of the helmet that they've done a poor job representing until right here, right now, with a tie ball game in the third quarter. That begins to generate a belief. And all of a sudden, players who played poorly begin to play well because they believe. And when you believe that you're going to have success and you play as if you're going to have success, that is often referred to as confidence. And all of a sudden, a team devoid of confidence completely has found it. And they're rallying around the football on defense, tackling en masse, encouraging one another. The offense is playing with a physicality we haven't seen all year long. The quarterback, a belief, conviction, running, making plays happen that aren't there. A couple of tight window throws that are actually held on to convert a crucial third down, and the sigh of the crowd echoes throughout Hard Rock. And the next thing you know, the anxiety that they feel, you feel in a good way, and you can sense this is coming down to the wire. Now, those are giant ifs, and that's kind of a prayer, to be honest with you, to the football gods, because I don't think anything that I just described is going to happen. Only that it is within the realm of possibility. But a lot of things have to go mighty right for Florida State, and a lot of things have to go really, really wrong for Miami. Lee Sterling's coming up. We'll get to him after this break. He would have been this segment, but I got carried away dreaming of a scenario about Florida State winning in Miami or providing some sort of game pressure. I suppose we could run that now if you wanted, Tom, because the news has been jettisoned somehow. As I sit in your chair today, there is no news to my left. I don't understand how that happened. I'm frustrated by it, especially since I have no way of knowing how to put the news back into the system for us to run. There's no break for me to throw to.
And it's gone.
That's right. So here's Lee Sterling, everybody. Paramount Sports. You get a sizable segment because the news left me. It's the Jeff Cameron Show. Here's Lee Sterling. Libations Friday, and the man is on the screen. It is Lee Sterling. It is time to make some picks. ParamountSports.com, of course. 800-400-9741 if memory serves. And, we've been doing this a little while, Lee. I think I've got that number memorized more than I do, say, my kids' cell phones. How are you, good sir?
I'm good. We've gone 12-4 since last Thursday night. So no complaints from me at all. What's crazy is just you got to know the business. And I was on Monday night, I'll never forget. I was answering a complaint. Someone was complaining, not even a client, that I missed on the Miami-Louisville game last week on one of the radio stations, because I predicted that Louisville was going to cover and Miami won by 7 and wanted me to issue an apology on the radio.
Oh,
I said,
okay.
You know what? I'll mention it for you, but that was one of those games I was happy to lose. So it wasn't a game I gave my clients. So, just one. I got one thank you. One thank you. I've won 7 out of 8 weeks. I don't think people realize how hard it is to win in today's landscape, where the injury reports, except for the SEC and the Big Ten on Saturday morning, no injury reports anymore. The NFL does a good job of it, but it's harder.
Lee, don't you think? By the way, this is a great topic because seriously, they take money. Does all of these networks and all of these organizations, the NFL does, the NCAA. Look, man, you have to provide injury reports if we're going to promote gambling as these games are going on, and all of them do. All of them do. You hear on the pregame shows, they'll reference spreads. You see it, brought to you by FanDuel. All of it, come on, who are we kidding here? You better.
It's the FanDuel Bally app now here.
Yeah. It's so if you're going to take the money, you got to provide the service, right?
We just want a level playing field. It's like going, when you're going to Vegas. I'm not going to play, a triple roulette on a wheel that has 0, 00, and 000. I'm just not going to do it. When you hand over my money, give us a level playing field when we're playing blackjack, or give us a chance to win, and then I'll wager and I'll send my clients to you. Otherwise, sorry, we'll go somewhere else.
Games this week, good sir. Alabama against Mizzou. I have said since a few weeks back that I think Mizzou's suspect. I don't think this is a great team. Now, Alabama has revealed that they have problems too. So I find this spread interesting and this game interesting. I can't wait to hear your side of this. I probably leaned Bama when it came out. Is it 14 still? I have to check it again this morning.
Up to 17 now.
Wow.
Well, Well, Brady Cook's not going to play, it looks like.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, one guy, even Nate Noel, their star running back, is not going to play. If Brady Cook played, I'd love Missouri. I think Alabama's got more problems. When I looked at that team before the year, I saw a team that wasn't great. I mean, they had one incredible half against Georgia, and a lot of people are going to remember that. But let's look at their talent. It's nothing special. Jalen Milroe right now, struggling. Here's another barometer of teams that are nothing special. Alabama, last year, they were top 10 least penalized yards. Nick Saban team penalized only 48 yards per game. This year, they're 127th out of 134 teams. They're penalized over 78 yards per game. You're going to give another 23 yards, 25 yards to a team, you're going to lose a lot of games here. Without Cook, I mean, what he did in that game last week, he leaves after a quarter, goes to the hospital and comes back for the last quarter and maybe a few extra minutes and leads his team to victory. I mean, the kid obviously is hurt enough where he can't even play this week. So give them credit. Do I think they're spectacular? No, but I think their defense is actually a little underrated. They have 2 really good weapons at receivers. They just haven't been able to get them the ball enough in Luther Burden and Theo Weiss. And on top of that, I think that I like the coaching staff from Missouri. They waited. I don't know what happened with their backup quarterback. Drew Pine, he was fine. He wasn't bad, wasn't great at Notre Dame. Played a bunch there, played at Arizona State. He came in, he couldn't complete a 5-yard pass.
Yeah.
I mean, it was painful to watch. Maybe after a week of practice, there's been a bunch of quarterbacks like the Indiana kid comes in, Jackson off the bench and looks incredible. Maybe he looks a little bit better. I'm not playing this game here, but we got to talk about it because it's basically an elimination game for the college football playoff. I'll take Missouri plus 17 and hold my nose.
This is the game that might be for the playoff, though, in the conference. This is huge. Texas A&M and LSU. I can't wait to watch this game. Right. I've got this circled. Yep. LSU is catching 2.5, depending on where you look. This is as big as they get in the SEC this weekend.
Yeah, now how about these two teams? The first game that they played of the year, Texas A&M loses, but maybe it was a new coaching staff getting used to the players. A lot of players had not played together. I mean, there might not have been any other team that had more turnover than Texas A&M among the better Power 4 teams. And then LSU looked awful against USC. They lose that game. They've looked great of late. In fact, if they played USC today, I think they beat them by 2+ touchdowns. So I think it comes down to quarterbacks. Connor Wegman against Missouri looked good. But again, just like the first game last week against Mississippi State, didn't look great. And then Garrett Nussmeier might be the best quarterback right now in the SEC, throwing for 18 touchdowns, and his offensive line has only allowed 2 sacks. So he's got weapons. Kyron Lacey, number 2, has 36 receptions, 6 touchdowns. Aaron Anderson, number 1, 33, and another 3 touchdowns. Their tight end has caught 36 passes on the year. They've got weapons galore. I think both lines, maybe a slight edge to A&M, but skill players, huge edge to LSU, and also the underdog in this series, 3-0-1 against the spread. I know the game's being played in Kyle Field, but I don't think these LSU kids can intimidate it wherever they play here. I'm going to say wrong team favored, LSU, 28-24, straight up.
I like it. I have the same prediction there, Lee. We're on the same page, buddy. SMU and Duke. I think one of the great mysteries of the world is how Duke is 6-1. That team sucks. Yeah. I'm telling you, when you watch Duke play, it's embarrassing. Of course, we lose to them, but Duke is terrible. Yeah. I don't know. It's 13. How do you see this game?
So SMU thought that they had found their guy. What happened last year, last couple games, they thought they found their quarterback in Preston Stone. Preston Stone, another kid, he couldn't throw a 5-yard pass. I mean, they had to make a change at quarterback, and now this kid Jennings starting to play at a pretty high level. They got 6 starters, does SMU from Miami. Their head coach, Brett Lashley, obviously was the offensive coordinator at Miami, and that's where the pipeline. But, I mean, they're good. I don't think they're anything special. I think Duke is going to try to just totally muck up this game. Their defense is not allowed more than 24 points. Do I think they win the game? No, but SMU is on their 3rd straight road game. I think SMU is much better, but it's a road game, played on grass. I think they win the game 23-16. I'll take the double-digit points in Duke, but Duke plays Miami next week, and here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that if Duke gets blown out, the line's going to be sky high. I'm hoping they win the game or play SMU very tight, and then the line is within 21, 24 points.
Yeah, we'll get a cheapie there because Miami's going to kill Duke. That with their skill and that quarterback, that's going to be
Manny Diaz, that factor there.
Hey, by the way, we both know, I know it's not a play on the sheet today, but let's just, come on, for old time's sake, buddy, it's Florida State, Miami.
Right.
How bad do you have it? Just give me a piece of how bad you have it.
So Miami's coming into a 2-game stretch. Miami's not near where they were 2001, but they get to play a team that beat them here. I think the score was about 45-3 2 years ago.
That's the exact score, 45-3 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think he's taken out Mario Cristobal, the starters, if they're up big.
I agree.
And they want to make sure they lock down any kid that they want. They're going head-to-head with Florida State here. If Florida State had receivers that could hold on to the ball, I haven't seen a stat. I'm going to try to find the stat. I remember one year with Allen, the quarterback for the Bills, when he was at Wyoming, his receivers dropped more balls than any other college receivers. Do you know how many balls that they've dropped this year, Jeff?
Florida State?
Yeah. Is there a number?
Yeah, but they credit, it's crazy. I mean, Lee, it should be double what they've said. I think it's 20-something.
Only 20-something?
Tom might know if he's still in I can't remember what they said the other day. Because here's the deal. The PFF grades, the way they rate drops and stuff, Lee, I'm watching.
Does it have to be laid in your hands?
It basically has to be imminently catchable, right? Like anything where you have to turn or twist, they don't count it as a drop as much, and they should, because these are receivers. I mean, it's what they should do in big-time football. Anyhow, Florida State's got a ton of drops.
Yeah, and you got to be able to stretch the field. If you can stretch the field, Miami's weakness is their secondary. I mean, you look at the PFF, the grades for their secondary, they got two of the bottom 30, 35 kids in college football in their secondary. But I don't think you guys have the quarterback or the receivers or the line to give them time to be able to exploit that. And like I said, Miami, they got so many weapons here, and I think they're going to be aggressive here, and I think their defensive line is going to create some havoc here against this Florida State offense. I like Miami big here, 45-10.
Yeah, well, we're in the same ballpark. I guessed right. There you go on the screen. Per PFF, it's 21 drops for FSU. Oof. I think it's more like 30. Right. I watch every game, unfortunately.
Right. Hey, I've been through it for 20 years with Miami. You know, when you struggle, but at least you had one good year. I mean, they just got to give them some time. The hardest part now is you can't sell this past season. Mario Cristobal's phone's ringing off the hook. I can tell you that for a fact.
Oh, sure. No, the hardest part is Florida State goes 13-0 last year.
Yeah.
They basically opt out of the book, and they can't. And then this is the follow-up season, so now you're screwed. It's like that season never happened.
Right. So,
and Lee, in the modern era, you got to fight to keep your players that are good. Like they have a bunch of good young players, a bunch of good young guys that they're throwing out there now because the season's gone, and they have to fight like hell to try to keep them at the end of this year. It's a tryout to leave.
I agree. And you know what? You also, when you're recruiting, you got to look at the parents. You got to see what kind of character the parents are.
There's no doubt it's changing too. You always needed to. Now you have to even more so.
It used to be. You looked at the parents and you're like, what kind of genes do they have? Athletic genes. Yeah. Now you got to find out. You know, do the parents care about an education?
Yeah. Is there character to what they're?
Did these kids jump around 3 to 4 schools? Do the parents jump around jobs? You want a kid who's stable, and if you can, then you might be able to turn it around.
Really quickly, because I diverted your attention, but by bringing up FSU Miami, I know 2 NFL games, Miami and Arizona. I'm gonna look, Tua's back, right? So do we take Miami here?
I think you do. I think Arizona, their weapon, they're not throwing to the outside receivers enough. Throwing to McBride like crazy here. And with Tua, I think you're going to see night and day. The offense is going to finally work again. I think they almost have to draft someone like Cam Ward, because obviously Tua, one more hit and he's done. And you need a quarterback that's similar to Tua that doesn't get hurt as much. And that's Cam Ward. So he's a guy they're probably identifying for next year. I like Miami here. I think they're begging you to play Arizona plus the 3.5. I'll take Miami here, 30-20.
A different conversation. You'd have to ask yourself why your head coach designed an offense that only one person can run. It doesn't, why is the backup not at least a clone of Tua, right?
Or someone like Josh Fields, someone maybe not as good a passer, but
something
who can evade the rush, something. Yeah.
Bucks are all beat to hell. It's the wrong time to be beat to hell. Defense isn't playing well. Falcons have a chance to sweep the season series. Do you lean on the Falcons here minus 2.5?
I do, because, what are you going to do? Like Oklahoma, you're going to throw it to the tight end and the running backs. Every team knows what's coming. They're coming off a Monday night. They got beat up in that game. And all of a sudden, Baker Mayfield, who was red hot, now all of a sudden he's forcing balls in there, and his confidence. When he's hot, Baker is prancing around, hot as can be. When he's cold, ice cold here. Atlanta, 28-20.
Free play of the week, Lee. What do we got? Kentucky and Auburn, I do believe.
Yeah.
How can folks get
one of those games? You got to take a pretty date to this game. It's going to be a tough watch here. So this could be a game, first team to 20, first team to me to 14. But I think I've got the right side. How about this? First 10 callers get it for free. Call 800-400. 9741. Again, the number 800-400-9741. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, 12-4 since last Thursday. We have won 7 of 8 weeks. If you're looking for someone might be able to give you an edge, I think we can do a good job. First ever special in honor of Stuart Scott, my Halloween Booyah bundle. All 4 sports from tonight through Sunday. Football, 10 to 12 games. Baseball World Series, going game 1 and 2. Going to give you all the hockey, all the basketball, all 4 sports. If you were to purchase all 4 individually, be over $400. Halloween Booyah bundle, $147, one place, ParamountSports.com.
Well done, brother. It's always a pleasure. Be good. Have a great weekend, man.
You too. See you, Jeff. Take care.
Take care. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, joins us every Friday. On fire this year, is killing it. Take a look at those numbers again. It's Alabama, Mizzou. He's going to take Missouri plus 14. He's got LSU winning the game outright as dogs. SMU, Duke. He's got Duke covering. He's got the Dolphins with Tua back in the saddle, beating Arizona and laying the 3.5. And, of course, my injury-riddled Bucks. He has no match for the Falcons this weekend. We shall see. And the free play, if you want to get it, Paramount Sports, 800-400-9741. That is Kentucky minus 2.5 against Auburn. It is the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. We'll be back in a moment on a Libations Friday. Loosey-goosey edition of the program.
Daily.com. Just want to remind you, daily 4 to 6 in the afternoons right here in Tallahassee on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Roger, it is literally the 2 fastest hours anywhere in afternoon talk radio.
And if you think the country's going crazy, we'll help you make sense of it all.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to make some sense of it. Again, Monday through Friday in the afternoons, Ed Dean, Roger Henderson on 93.3.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. This Halloween season, guess who will be hiding under the bed? People that sell new compact cars, SUVs, and trucks, that's who. They're scared to death of Nissan's 2024 lineup. The reports are in. The new-look Sentra is absolutely the best-looking car you can buy for under $25,000. And the Nissan Titan is the only pickup truck on the market with 0% for 60 months and up to $8,000 off. Forbes Magazine, Wheels Division, test drove Nissan Frontier and Toyota Tacoma in head-to-head competition. Their conclusion was that the winner for driving and handling was the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, hands down. And in an even scarier review, HotCars.com stated that the Nissan Rogue is one of the best-looking compact SUVs on the market. So if you drive an SUV or a truck, don't be afraid. Come test drive the best. Test drive a Nissan at Kraft. You see, in the midst of Halloween season, just like the rest of the year, Tallahassee's not a scary town. It's a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive in Tallahassee, or visit us at craftnissan.com.
Pinch A Penny Pools has the largest selection of premium hot springs hot tubs in the city. You might even call it Tallahassee's Hot Tub Hub. 12,000 square feet of hot tubs, with over 50 of them on site. Over 20,000 gallons of tub capacity to choose from. That's 4,620,000 cubic inches of hot tubs. But I digress. So why should you own a hot tub from Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. Number 1, health benefits, of course. The healing powers of soaking in a hot bubbling pool of water go back centuries. Google it. Number 2, Pinch A Penny has hot tubs with technology called Freshwater IQ. It gives you real-time chemical readings and tells you exactly what to add to keep the water at peak perfection. With automated analysis to help you control the chlorine and pH. It's hot tubs for dummies. Sign me up. Number 3, they have the best prices, of course. Plus you get a free accessory and no interest financing. Easy peasy. But if you don't want to take my word for it, check them out yourself. Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Locally owned, locally operated, and the easiest way to find relaxation at home.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And away we go. Appreciate Lee Sterling on Elevations Friday. By the way, we didn't talk about it last segment or the segment before. That game last night is the obvious reason that, Tom, when the spread looks way off, you never bet the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota by 3 against a Rams team that has struggled, and that really doesn't possess much of a home field advantage. You know, we know the teams in L.A. oftentimes see their home crowds resemble that of the away team's home crowd. So you weren't looking at like, this crazy atmosphere or anything like that. And right off the bat, Minnesota goes down the field and scores. And you're like, oh, I don't even know if I need to watch this. I may go to bed early tonight. And the next thing you know, Matthew Stafford does what he does. And it's kind of cool that guy quietly has just gone ahead and put together a Hall of Fame career and is an elite quarterback. And if he has any weapons at all, he's always good. When his guys are healthy, he's just always effing good.
There's a really good breakdown on X by Brian Baldinger. Our Warchant Twitter account retweeted it. But take a look. It's a 1-minute video of Braden Fisk saving a touchdown late in the game, 28-20. It's a play in which Braden doesn't get the sack. It's a combo sack for Jared Verse and one of the other guys on the defensive line. But wide receiver Jordan Addison for Minnesota breaks off a beautiful double move up the left sideline. Wide open. 5-10 yards of separation by the time the ball's going to let go.
Yeah.
It's a walk-in touchdown, and it becomes a game. But Braden Fisk, with internal pressure, making a spin move late, forces Darnold to come off of the platform, break left into danger because Jared Verse had a sack and a half last night, 2.5 tackles for loss. His pressure rate is the highest in the NFL this year. He's been an unbelievable player, but it's our favorite two guys. The reason that I felt like last December/January we had a chance against anybody we played, because those two did special things. They're doing special things again at the NFL level, which is just really cool to watch.
It's funny when you see those numbers and you see how those guys play against the best competition in the world, you really realize, what it was Florida State lost. You lost 2 terrors on the defensive line, and they were capable, when healthy, simultaneously healthy, of destroying game plans. Entire game plans for opposing teams were rendered impotent because of 2 guys. Those 2 guys. Now, when you throw into the mix that Renardo Green went and made himself a good NFL cornerback prop, that's a guy that is like legit getting a lot of run in San Francisco and playing well. And then Jerrion Jones transformed his career and became a legitimate NFL player. And just even when Fabo late in the year got healthy and his reps became more impactful, you just realize that Florida State, yes, could have been in any game they played against anybody, even with a waning offense. But also, golly, did they lose a lot on that defense. It's tough to swallow when you look out there and see what these guys are doing in the league right now and what's not happening here.
Well, that's the best compliment you can give to Adam Fuller is they haven't been a total abject failure like the offense has this year, and they lost arguably more. In terms of at every level, you lost dudes, special players, special college players at every level. And we didn't even bring up Akeem Dent. This is another guy that we first guessed in the offseason because they bring in Devontae Brown as a transfer, because they're not ready to trust Conrad Hussey and Shaheem Brown's supposed to be closer to the football. You're worried about alignment and a veteran handling and coordinating a position that's very important. And we miss Akeem Dent as well. So, yeah, at every single level, you were impacted by departures year for year, and your 2 elite guys are kicking butt for the Rams.
And by the way, a play at the end of the game last night that we didn't discuss, and I will in a moment because this is so effing fixable and easy. And for once, I want somebody to follow the NFL's lead. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
For the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Gresham, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers are dealing with a lot of injuries right now. during the open portion of practice on Thursday. Reporters noted that running back Bucky Irving was not on the field with the rest of the team. He had sat out practice on Wednesday with a toe injury. The team does still have Rashad White and Sean Tucker available. The Buccaneers will host the Falcons on Sunday. Also on Sunday, the Jaguars, they take on the Green Bay Packers, and the Miami Dolphins, they are set to play host to Arizona. College football coming up on Saturday. Florida State and Miami will play against each other. Central Florida, they are set to take on BYU, and Florida has a week off before playing Georgia and Jacksonville next week. This Sports Flash is brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun, and Gold, more than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
What's better than 1 win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get 1 line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see...
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Hi, this is J.L. Dunbar. I want to tell you why I'm supporting Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, and I hope you will too. For more than 20 years, I've known Robert Churchill to be a good neighbor, a loving father and husband, a business owner, and a respected attorney. In fact, everything I've seen tells me he'll make a great Leon County Judge. Vote Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge.
Paid for and approved by Robert Churchill for Leon County Judge, Seat 4.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tom, and it's his birthday. So happy birthday to Tom. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. Away we go. We're having fun. Good to be with you. I was talking moments ago about the end of the game last night. Now, I don't know that Minnesota would have gone down and scored. They had to go 97 yards. They didn't have any timeouts. If they scored, they would have had to go for 2. They were down 8. We don't know.
Yeah, Lord knows that Florida would have in garbage time twice in order to get it back to a cover. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Tom has never gotten over the bad beat that was Florida's 2 long drives, short period of time, 2 fourth down conversions in said drives, including the bad beat touchdown on a fourth down play, if memory serves.
That is all correct. I also had one this week that I didn't share with you because I've gotten older, more mature. But in my fantasy league, Baker Mayfield's final 8-yard scamper as time expired moved him to above 30 rushing yards, and I lost by half a point. Let's just say that I was up by about 30 points with 15 minutes to go in that game. Anyway.
I will say that fantasy football is the quickest way to a broken heart, because more of those kinds of losses happen than bad beats, I think. Like, and I'll say this, like a similar bad beat, like you lose by a half a point. You know, the spread was 5.5, you lose by 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like something like that. It happens more often that somebody beats you by a point in fantasy football. And some of those leagues that do the, 80.75 scoring or something like that, you could beat somebody 8.75 to 70.72 or something like that. You see those scores. I've seen people lose, in that way too, by like 0.32 or 0.3 with some nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the onside kick, all the extra offense, the long touchdown bonus to Rashad White. And we only play half points. So there is no 0.862. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So that final run, as time expired, because we insisted on, executing offensive plays until there was triple zeros in the clock, even after Chris Godwin's season was ended. We continued, we pressed forward, and Baker ran for 8 yards, and that was that.
Now I know what's at the root of Tom's anger about the fourth quarter decisions.
So here's the truth. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that till Wednesday. So my feelings were honest on a Monday night and a Tuesday.
Well, look, if you missed it last night, we do this all the time. I swear Tom and I could solve many of these officiating ills, and so could all of you. Because it's just common sense. It's just common sense. But the league never seems to have any common sense. Look, I understand that in the last 2 minutes of a football game, they don't allow coaches to throw the challenge flag. All right, so you can't throw a challenge flag in the last 2 minutes. The league takes it from there. New York takes over from there, right? So any reviews that have to happen have to come from New York in those last 2 minutes. It can't be a coach demanding that they take a look at something. And they wouldn't have probably been able to throw a challenge flag anyhow because there was no penalty called on the play. So what are you reviewing? You can't review something that wasn't called. If you missed it, the Vikings had the ball trailing by 8, 28-20 on their own 3. Darnold went back, minute and a half to play. Improbable comeback. Stranger things have happened. But you can't make this happen. You can't have what happened because it calls into question at times, especially in our conspiratorial mindset of the modern age. The integrity of the game when a call like this is missed. Darnold went back to pass in his own end zone, and he gets taken down for a sack, which is a safety awarded for the Rams. Upon further review, when you watch the replay, it's not just a face mask. It's an ugly face mask. I mean, he yanks his face halfway around. It's the kind of call that nobody misses. You don't miss this blatant of a face mask, but they did. They didn't call it. And the safety effectively ended the game. At the time they were talking about it, they were saying, well, this is something that would be easily caught if you could review it. But you can't. A review has to be buzzed down from New York, and that is only going to happen if there was an actual call. So you can't review a non-call. There was no call. And the reason the league has this in place is that They don't want, whether it's New York or even a head official, to see a play and there is no foul committed or there is no foul called on the play, and then to have somebody override the play and the officials on the field and say, hold on, I saw something over here. We're going to enforce this penalty that you didn't call. Because where does it stop? Last night would have been easy. You would have said, well, that's an obvious face mask. They've got to call the face mask. I mean, look, he's yanking his face mask. That's why they got him to the ground. That's why it's this, you got to call that. Sure, that one's easy. But if you did that, if you had a no call on the field and you had somebody buzz down to say, well, you missed a face mask, are we going to start having people buzz down to say, I think you missed a hold? I think there was holding in the end zone. When we watch the replay of that, the left tackle is clearly holding. He tackled the defensive end on that play. It should have been a 10-yard penalty. Or you missed a hands to the face. Or seemed to me the receiver downfield was being held on that play. I know you sacked him in the end zone, but can we look at that again? I think the wide receiver was being held, and that's why he held onto the ball as long as he did, which is what led to the sack. I'm going to buzz in and say I think there was some defensive holding here that wasn't called. The league doesn't want that, frankly, either to you and I. But I also know this. You don't want to be in a position to where people can call into question the integrity of your game. And we live in, as I said, weird times. Obviously, with social media and the 24-hour news cycle, you can be exposed to misinformation and conspiracy theories much more than you could in the past. And this is what happens now, is that everybody sees a play like that and goes, well, what's that official doing? He's looking right at it. Why did he turn away? Look at this replay again. And then you facilitate it by showing it frame by frame and you post it. And then somebody gets it and they post it like, that guy had money on the game.
Yeah. Well,
how could you miss that call?
In Minnesota, they're saying it's all to help out the Packers. That's what this is all about. Is the league is always going to benefit the Packers, and that no call benefits the Packers in the situation.
So what I would say, Tom, is that you could do a situation where if it's a personal foul of any kind, you just make the rule that if it's a personal foul, if you see like a personal foul, a punch to the face, a face mask, a late hit or something like that, then maybe you can buzz in then if it's missed by the officials. What I wonder about is how in the hell the guy missed it. And what I mean by that is that this could be a rather than conspiratorial, I would just tell you it's incompetence, which we see all the time. The other thing is that the rules committee sucks in the NFL. They've always sucked. And they take forever to make obvious changes to antiquated rules, or their points of emphasis year in and year out seems to be arbitrary. There's an awful lot of nonsensical things that happen within the rules committee. And, I would say that this is part of it. To me, they're worried about taking power away from the officials on the field. That they've always been scared to death. They don't want to make their officials look bad. So they don't override obvious missed calls or a blown call. They don't like to do it. They don't like to do it if they don't have to do it because they think it's a bad look for officials. They think it takes power away from the field officials. You could, and many people have argued this, why don't you just take the crew chief, the head official for that crew, and put him up in the box? And so when his crew misses a call, he buzzes in, and because it's his crew. You're all together. He comes in and says, well, wait, Bob, we missed something here. You missed a blatant face mask. I'm gonna buzz in here and make sure we get this right.
Well, you're saying slippery slope. We're already on that slope. Oh, why hold back? This is what the reason that we do is because when something is under review, it takes way, way, way too long. If the review process was instantaneous, the way that it really could be and should be, we've talked about this ourselves. We sit on the couch. You give us one replay. We know what the call is. You can easily, if you have a second person dedicated to looking at the timestamp of that foul, tell you how much time should be on the clock, the down and the distance.
Yes.
Stop the ball and we go. but there's multiple problems with the way officiating is conducted at the NFL level. Number one, the review process takes forever. Number two, head referees believe they're television stars. They do. Look at the bronzer they put on. More and more of these guys are trying to work out, pulling their sleeves up tight. I mean, it's ridiculous. These guys want FaceTime. So when you have a head official that wants FaceTime, you have an inefficient product. When you have a replay review system that can clear something up in 10 seconds and it takes 2.5 minutes, you have another problem. If the system of replay review was efficient, because they are starting to integrate that now, the review on the fly system. If you did that, and you didn't ever promise head officials that they could stare into the camera and do their favorite flex as they call a holding on the offense, then I think these officials would be much more like soccer officials, which is they wind and they go. They wind and they go. Sometimes there are soccer officials that want to primp in front of the camera, and they want to look their best. But for the most part, it's advantage. Do we play on or do we stop right here, right now, because the integrity of the current play has been affected? That you could take a lesson from soccer in that and just get this thing moving.
Well, and here, Live Spectator is nailing my point, which is that the NFL is now in bed with betting services, so they have to understand the ramifications of that. I'm talking about the optics. There's no conspiracy here, just like it's usually not a conspiracy. They're not rooting for any one team. No official is out there making sure that another team wins or loses. It doesn't happen. You can remember the two instances in like the history of the world that it has ever happened, and people hang on to that as if it's rampant throughout the referee circles in every sport. It's not. But you cannot have, what you can't have is integrity called into question of any sport. You can't have that. And again, this is easily solvable in an obvious situation like that. The eye in the sky, you can, first of all, you have to make all plays reviewable. They don't do that. They have all these obstacles in the way of making this a more efficient process, Tom. They have all these things that you have to loops you have to jump through in order to decide whether something is reviewable or not. Well, and that's ridiculous.
Here's where it's going to go in 20 years. We're just going to have to fight through, officials' unions to get there. The television product for football is beyond reproach when you're talking about what you get to see. The immediate replays. I mean, for an NFL game at least, if you're a group of 5 ESPN game, hell, if you're a lower level ACC network game, good luck getting a replay review. But if you're at the level of professional football, even your worst CBS or Fox game of the week is going to have plenty of cameras in place to make sure that the proper call is made. These old men jogging around and sweating on the field, hoping that they spotted the ball at the 37 correctly when everybody on television saw it needs to be on the 35-yard line, are eventually going to be put in booths where you have cameras on the place of responsibility. And I'm talking about up in the stands, up in the press box. You can review the play right then and there, and you can buzz if you need to see it. This on-the-field thing is antiquated. It is, especially given football itself. There are different sports where it's much more difficult to legislate on the fly. Like basketball is really tough. That one's really, really hard. I know that the playing surface is smaller, but block, charge, foul, catching the arm.
Well, the block charge thing is the whole thing. And there should, I won't get into basketball right now. I think they could do away with some things. But I will just say this, Tom, and this is the part that I don't understand. It's an ego. You touched on it. It's ego driven a lot of times. If you have the head official of a crew, the crew chief of a crew in the booth, he's one of their own. So it's easier to handle when Bob, who you go out to dinner with every week and fly to the various cities in which you guys are refereeing games together, if he says, hey, Tom, you missed this one. The other thing I would tell these officials is there is no shame in missing a call. Now, you're graded, and you can't be incompetent, and if you are, we're going to get you out of here. But a random missed call, I think, is understood by the vast majority of people. To be an official is not easy. Tom and I had the very good fortune, we've referenced this moment many times on the show, but at one of the ACC kickoffs that we attended in North Carolina, Doug Rhodes, who, rest in peace, was the head official for the NCAA, for the ACC, I think it was, right? He was showing us on-field views. They have the video on the officials of what they're looking at, what they're responsible for, and what they see. So it's a back judge, line judge, all the different guys, right? So you're in the middle of the field, you're behind the play, you're in front of the play, you're on the side of the play. You got to see every angle that on-field officials have, okay? And one of the things that they were able to illustrate, especially when they slowed it down, was how many different things are happening on any given play and how difficult it is in real time to spot it. Because these guys are good, man. I mean, these are the best of the best. They've learned ways to mask the infractions that they're committing. It's like back in the day, like a really good rebounder or a crafty rebounder gets that little shirt tug the moment the ball is about to hit the rim. And it's a pull down as he goes up, and it's slick. And it's the difference between you getting the rebound and him jumping a half second too late to get the rebound. It's illegal, but it's hard to spot if you're good at it, right? And all of these guys, nobody was more crafty with that than Larry Bird. He was forever rebounding. Boy, how does that sorry-ass rebound? Because he's cheating, and he was good at it, and it was awesome. And there are other guys. He's just a good example. But in the NFL, we're talking about bigger, stronger, faster. It's almost impossible to see everything that's happening. So the point is, I would tell them, you're going to miss some things. What I was shocked about last night is, how do you miss an infraction, a personal foul, on a quarterback? Because Lord knows they over-officiate that position more than any other. You can't get away with breathing on a quarterback too late and not have it be called. There's always somebody staring at a quarterback, I think, to a fault. We baby quarterbacks in a way that's uncomfortable. Quarterbacks themselves in the game currently will disagree with calls on the defense. They'll say, that wasn't roughing. We just heard a quarterback say it last week. Aaron Rodgers, who loves to cry about anything, was saying that, it wasn't a personal foul. The personal foul they called for the late hit wasn't a late hit. That was nonsense. Josh Allen thought the late hit called on the Jets was not a late hit. Like, it wasn't really a late hit. A lot of these guys don't think it is. They think they're being babied. They'll admit it. They know it's awfully hard to play defense. My point is, the league emphasizes any kind of a quarterback impact. It's a hit too low, it's a personal foul. Hit too high, it's a personal foul. It's a hit a half second too late, and I mean half second, it's going to get called. You throw him to the ground, it's going to get called. You land on him the wrong way, it gets called. How are you getting hit in the head and having your face mask ripped down into the side? How is it not seen by anybody on the field?
Well, because the Packers are the NFL's darling. Everybody wants Green Bay. I'm telling you, that's what Minnesota Sports Radio is saying today. But you're right. That specific instance, there are usually 4 sets of eyeballs on what happens to the quarterback. And sometimes you'll see a flag for a personal foul, roughing the passer, come from a place it shouldn't come from at all. The sideline, the line judge, somebody in the defensive backfield. It's wild. I just think we're already on the slippery slope. So we can have one of these segments every week if we wanted to. Because
this one was egregious, though. This one you can see. I'm
just saying, when you have 40, 50, and 60-year-olds trying to run around for 2.5, 3 hours, and you are hoping that in the third hour of their work, that their body is in the proper position and their glasses are tucked tightly enough to their face that they can see that somebody got tugged on the hip 20 yards away from them, I think we're looking at an antiquated system. At the very least, put a system in place where Division I, Division II former football players can be integrated into the officiating system because they're in phenomenal shape. They know the modern game. They're in a position to help replace some of the older eyes, or use the fact that television and football go together unlike any sport that we have in the country. Television and football are perfect for one another. Use that to your advantage to gain more efficiency and accuracy.
I just think this is so easy. We had the Jeff Cameron, Tom Lang duo in place. We were set. You and I volunteered to do any game that they want. Game of the week. Sorry, lesser tier games, you don't get the services of Cameron and Lang. But the big game of the week. Last week we would have been at Detroit, Minnesota, Tom. What a game we would have been at. making sure that everything was on the up and up and we were all good to go, that no calls were missed. We would have been golden. And then they would flash. I got to, the slate's not great this week, but anyhow, I'm stunned, man, that they missed that and that there isn't a very simple solution where you could just go. You don't have to jump through hoops. They just fixed the rule in college last week. Ohio State, Oregon ended, and as soon as Dan Lanning admitted that he intentionally put a 12th man on the field because he thought the 5 yards meant less to him than the 6 seconds that were going to roll off the clock on the play, they were like, yeah, that violates the spirit of the rule. You did find a loophole, and now we're going to close the loophole. Well, good. Yeah. How about the NCAA getting something right?
Absolutely. They got something right in an expedient manner, and Dan Lanning's a coward for not putting 15 people on the field. Put 15 on the field. If you
they would have seen it. He was trying to be sneaky.
Oh, that's right. Yes. And so I'm going to call him for a balk. There's intent to deceive. He gets a coaching balk.
Well, you can call it what you want. They won the game, and they love him in Oregon for it, and I would have done the same damn thing. But
that's because you have no integrity.
It's not my fault there's a loophole in the rule. They need to close the loophole. I'm here to win some games, Tom. I'm paid handsomely to win some games.
Coach
I'm
Saul,
doing everything I can for my employer.
Coach Saul Goodman.
You, on the other hand, would shirk your responsibilities for some moral code in football that doesn't exist.
I would just raise tougher men and beat you. I wouldn't need it. I wouldn't need it.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Guided by service and strengthened by faith, LaShawn Riggins is a proven servant leader, a veteran, youth advocate, and an attorney for over 17 years. Service has always been the cornerstone of LaShawn's career. Committed to justice, safety, and our community, LaShawn Riggins aims to work toward a safer and more just society in Leon County. Vote LaShawn Riggins for Leon County Judge.
Paid by LaShawn Riggins, nonpartisan for Leon County Judge, Seat 4.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Sellers, are you stuck between wanting to sell your home and waiting for rates to fall? Are you worried about the contingency of having to sell your home? What if you didn't have to? With a 2-1 rate buy down, you can lock in a lower interest rate for the first 2 years of your mortgage and get the home you want now, all while having a higher chance to buy that next home with the contingency of selling yours. If you wait for rates to fall, You risk more competition, sellers less likely to wait, and paying more for that next property. If you're stuck, we need to talk. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. Again, this is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. That's 954-369-6171. And don't forget, for every loan we close for our fellow Knowles, I will personally donate $250 to the Battle's End.
Equal housing rent. NMLS number 373031.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, we're going to try to make it work, Tom. We were having some phone issues here, but it is Libations Friday, and this is the segment where we typically make picks with Mother. So we're going to give it a go here, and if you would, fire it up.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
All right, so we'll give it a try now. Mom, are you there? Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me. I don't have you up. Now can you hear me, Mom? No.
Are you in that fourth source over there? The old OL?
She's not hearing me. I don't know what's going on with the phone here. This is annoying. Let's try it again. Mother, can you hear me now?
Uh-oh. What do we got here?
Not good, Tom. I'm going to try one more. Last thing. Mom, are you there?
Aw.
Man, I can hear her on this phone. This antiquated phone. I can hear her. I should hold it up here.
Is she blinking red on the right side?
She's not. I'm going to do it again.
She's blinking red, and you have the OL up on your microphone.
Now she's blinking red. Are you there now, Mom?
I am. I can hear you loud and clear.
Well, you sound like you're in a cave. We'll have to try to make this work. I don't know if it's going to. Can you say something again?
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday.
Nah, it's not going to work. We're going to try it next segment, Mother. Stay with me. We'll get it fixed during the next segment.
Okay, and you can try that phone again.
Okay, I will. Something going on with the phones. I don't know if the storms did that, Tom.
It could be. Might be worth it if she's near the computer. I can send a link, and we can do it the video way. Worth considering.
Well, she may be listening. We'll figure it out during the break because we're going to get our picks in. I know we both missed last night. I think we both had. I won 2 out of 3 last week.
That's correct. So she's currently up 2. You have reduced the deficit to 2 for the season.
Man, you can see where this is headed, Tom. You really can just tell that she's in deep trouble, reeling, if you will. Had a 6-game lead, and now it's down to 2, just like that. What happened was I got my bearings. Once I got a handle on who these teams were, the course was changed, and now it's every week.
This is not an apt description because, your mom has won twice. We did confirm that. We went back over the years of the FM dial at the ESPN station. She won 1 year.
I don't believe that's true.
Okay.
I don't believe that's true.
So
you're inventing a win for Mother that never happened.
Oh my!
She beat Fat Peter. She did not beat me.
Yes, she did. It's true. It's happened. It's fact.
She did beat Fat Peter. That is fact.
Okay, very well. So either way, 1 win or 2, she has 2.
She did win last year for sure. That part is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's won before. Lee Westwood is not a good example. But, it's Ryder Cup Sunday, and Lee Westwood's up 5 through 7. You go, oh, my God, Lee Westwood putting it on Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
And on the 13th tee, Lee Westwood's 3 up. And on the 14th tee, he's 2 up. And you realize that not only are you not, if you're Europe, going to get a half point, you're getting no points out of that match because this thing needed to end by hole 11 or hole 12 because there's no way he's making
He's not closing it. He's not closing the deal. No, he's
No,
not
sir.
going. By the way, lest we forget, the World Series begins tonight, and it's a good one. It's a really good one. Like as in coin flip could go either way. Hope we get 7 games. I do. I think it's good for baseball, and you guys know I'm a baseball fan. So it would be great to see a 7-game series with all the stars. But I will tell you this. I read this morning, they do the little factoids. You can go anything about a series. They've got everything on it from the amount of times the two teams have faced each other all time to whatever records are at stake this year, the season that we just saw, the amount of times this team has won or that team has won, all these things. 64% of game 1 winners in any 7-game series in baseball go on to win the World Series, go on to win the series, I should say. So that's a sizable percent. I wouldn't have guessed that it would be that high. Would you have said 64%?
No, not in a best of 7. In a best of 5, absolutely. But it feels like in a lot of ways, if you split 1-1 and you're the road team, in this case the Yankees, you've done all you need to do in that situation. But then again, my team split last time in the NLCS, and it really didn't feel like they ever had a prayer. This is a more even fight. This is a much more even fight. Although I will say the reason, having watched the Dodgers for 6 games, the reason I think this has a chance to maybe be over a little bit earlier is because the Dodgers role players at the plate have been unreal. And it's not about home runs or luck. It's about plate discipline. It's about no strike zone. They are remarkable, and they grind top to bottom of that order.
Well, the one thing I will say is that you've got several players that the term professional at bat applies. Soto, nobody has better at bats than Soto for the Yankees. It's unreal. He may be an annoying human being, and he is. He's an incredible baseball player, and to watch his at bats are really, really cool. They're the kind of the nuance of the game, right? That ball that's a 1/4 inch off the black on the inside, he somehow can lay off of over and over again. No, he's one of those guys, and a lot of great hitters are this way. They've got a handle, as they say, on the strike zone to within a 1/4 inch every time. It's just amazing. Like to the point where umpires often kind of look to the player.
Yeah, well,
whether that ball was on the plate or not.
Yeah, it's where reputation. It's where reputation can be self-fulfilling. Greg Maddux knew the strike zone so well that you gave him 6 inches outside the strike zone routinely in his latter years. It's like, well, look, he doesn't need that. He's good enough that you can use them. Just, apply the rules as they are. And he's still going to go 7 and he's going to give up 1 run. Okay. You don't need to give him a 1/2 foot outside the strike zone. Same thing for Soto or Freddie Freeman when he's rolling. I know he's got the bum foot, but that guy sees the plate so well. Or Max Muncy. These guys' reputations do precede them, but call a strike, and hopefully that's what they do in this particular series. But both teams have those kinds of guys. It's just the Dodgers have more of them. The Yankees have more swing and miss in them. We'll see, though, because the Dodgers pitching staff can be feast or famine, and it has been both in this postseason.
It has, and both pitching staffs really are relying heavily on about 6 to 7 relievers, and I've talked about that a lot. And one of them happens to be Florida State's own Luke Weaver. How cool is that? Good for him, man. Good for him. Good kid, has worked hard, struggled as a starting pitcher in the bigs, found his niche as a reliever, and now is on the New York Yankees in the World Series. And that is a story to tell for the rest of your life.
Yes, and he is now their high leverage guy or 1A, 1B. Clay Holmes is in that conversation as well. They've got a bunch of arms in that bullpen. But it will be interesting because it's likely going to happen at some point that his changeup will be matched up with Shohei Ohtani in a high leverage late inning situation. Man.
Really, frankly, any pitch. I don't care if it's your whatever I know you get out of jail free card is his changeup, but man, you don't want that guy coming to the plate in the 9th inning of a 1-run game. If you're the Yankees, you avoid that. The problem is, have you seen the numbers when Ohtani walks? So if you walk him, he's scoring because he's going to steal second. It's unbelievable, and it's less about speed and more about craftiness and an understanding of how to steal a base. He said it himself. He's like, I'm not really all that good at it. I just got a good feel for what pitchers are doing, and I take the bag.
Well, and he's also a small forward. I mean, he's a tall dude, so like the lead he takes off of first. I just saw a number on this during the break. The average lead taken by a base runner in Major League Baseball from first base is 11.9 feet.
Mm-hmm.
He's 13.6 feet. He's more than
it doesn't take much for him to get back.
Exactly right. He just falls over there in the proper direction with one step, and he's back on first base safely. Also, his average sprint speed is a full 15% faster than the average Major League Baseball base stealer from first base. So he's faster and he has a larger lead. That's why he has a success rate as much as he does.
Well, and I think the way that I should have described it just now was that he's not explosive the way that Ricky Henderson was explosive. When you saw Ricky Henderson out the gates, you went, oh, it took your breath away. It looked like he was shot out of a cannon. But because Shohei is so long and it takes a second for him to get to that speed you're referencing, yeah, when he gets there, he can go. But it's not shot out of the cannon looking, so you're wondering, how does he do it? Well, Tom's numbers just told you how he does it. It's really pretty amazing.
Larger lead, longer body, faster top speed. That's how he does it. He's a lot like when he's sprinting. Now, the guy I'm going to reference is actually, he had the highest success rate in base stealing in history for a long time, but he's like Carlos Beltran when he's at full speed. It doesn't look like they're moving at all.
Right.
It looks like they're on more than a brisk jog, but not much more than a brisk jog. And then you see the sprint speed numbers and you say, oh my God, he's clearing 20 miles an hour? Holy cow.
My favorite guy like that over the years in any sport was Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson never looked like he was running fast, and people wouldn't catch him. And he ran straight up, and he was standing tall. He was a tall running back, high knees, and he'd get out in the open field, and you're like, well, they're going to tackle him. Somebody's going to tackle him. He's going to be tackled. Surely that's a 70-yard touchdown. Nobody tackled Eric Dickerson. Sure looked like somebody would be able to get to him, and nobody could. It was crazy when you watched him run. Never looked like he was running all that hard. All right, we'll try again with Mama. We'll get the picks in here momentarily. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs up aloft around 88 this afternoon. Under clear skies, winds out of the southeast around 5 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight, lows around 62. High temperatures reach up to 88 tomorrow. Bright sunshine expected. Daytime highs approaching 87 Sunday under clear skies. 83 Monday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 86.
This is Patty Wilson.
I'm sorry, we're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name?
I don't.
Patty and Scott. Everybody
I don't
knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. This is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, Debt Blue is here for you. With Debt Blue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. So I'm very thankful for it. And the team at Debt Blue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then
Yeti.
Here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And,
I've never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
But I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, we were able to do this now. This time around, it's a little bit better as we will have Mom actually on the screen. This is better anyhow. And that way we can just say to hell with these phones. These old-ass landlines aren't working. We got to use the actual technology of today. Tom, cue it up.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room!
Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
All right, so there it is, and there's Mom. Hello, Mother. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Very, very good. And better now that we've got you working.
I got over here on this week in less than a minute.
I don't know why that sounds weird, too. Goodness gracious. You did get on there in less than a minute, and I'm proud of you for having done so. We both lost last night?
We did. You know what? I listened to you before when you were talking about that face mask. Now, there's something wrong with that. I mean, I'm like you. How did they miss that call? I don't know if they would have won the game or not. But, that was blatant.
It was terrible. He missed the call. He said it after the game. The official, I guess I'll give him credit for that. He did own it. He said, look, I missed it. I've seen the replay. I don't know how I missed it, but I did. I didn't see it, and I missed the call. Sometimes it happens. I will say these officials, of course, it's an overused thing, but they're human, and they make mistakes, and that was a big one to make.
That's a huge one. Considering they call ticky-tack things that don't affect the play at all. They call some dumb thing that just ruins everything. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of the officials. Every once in a while I am. I definitely don't think the Bucks never get any calls. So that
Mom, you sound like it.
Darnold, he could have really gotten hurt.
Yeah, it's face masks are problems. Listen, no fan base thinks that their team gets calls, so you sound like every other fan base. All right, here we go. So you're up 2 to start the week, Mom. You're up 2 to start.
I want everybody to realize that those 2 games I lost last week were by a total of 4 points.
It's a toughie.
It's a toughie, you're right. Those damn Chargers, they were winning the whole game until that last field goal there in the last second.
It's a good thing I had a handle on that one and took Arizona.
I know, and I don't know, but Minnesota's getting me nervous now. They were just cruising along, and then, of course, last night that was a problem. But anyway, I don't know, but I'm not forsaking them just yet.
Philadelphia at Cincinnati.
I know, that's a good one, isn't it? I really wrangled with this one. I'm taking Philadelphia.
I'm taking Cincinnati. We're out the gates.
I knew you would. I thought you would.
Baltimore at Cleveland, you're taking Baltimore. Tennessee at Detroit, you're taking Detroit. We get to the next good one. Arizona at Miami.
Yeah, now here we go again. Because I don't know if Tua is going to play again.
Tua is playing.
He is?
Yes.
Okay. And did you say they're at Arizona?
No, they're at Miami.
Oh, they're at Miami. Okay, I'm taking Miami.
Me too. The Jets at New England.
Oh, Lord. I'm so happy about this Jets thing. That Aaron Rodgers, oh my God, I hope he loses every game. who are they playing? Oh, New England. I took New England.
Ooh, I'm going to take the Jets.
Well,
So we have another one different. There you go, right off the bat.
all right, let me put that. You got the Jets. Where are they? Okay, well, I'll find them.
Atlanta at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I know that I should pick Atlanta because we just lost two of our best players last week. But I don't know. I just have a gut feeling. And we lost to those jerks in overtime last time. And I just think our new guys are going to step up. So I'm taking the Bucks.
I will take the Falcons, but I do
appreciate you would. Oh,
but
God,
I do
we got
appreciate
different now.
Yeah, I appreciate your optimism. Green Bay at Jacksonville.
Green Bay.
Indianapolis at Houston.
Houston.
New Orleans at the Chargers.
Yeah. I think I took the Chargers. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I can't find it, but I took the Chargers.
That is correct. Buffalo at Seattle.
Yeah, that's probably could be a good game. I took Buffalo.
Me too. Carolina at Denver.
Denver.
Kansas City at Las Vegas.
Yeah, Kansas City.
Chicago at Washington.
Washington.
Don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to play. That would make all the difference.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm going to give you the caveat if you'd like it. Are you taking Washington if he plays?
Yes.
All right. If he plays, we're both taking Washington. If he doesn't, we're both taking the Bears.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Dallas at San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Kind of has the makings for a weird game. San Francisco is riddled with injury. I'll take them as well, but I'm not going to be shocked if Dallas wins. And then finally, the Monday Night Football game is the Giants at the Steelers.
What a terrible Monday night game. That's a pitiful game. Anyway, I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Me too. So we have three different. There you go. And you took the Eagles, the Patriots, and the Bucks. I've got the Bengals, the Jets, and the Falcons. And after this week,
tell me what's the other one that we have different here, because I know you have Atlanta and I have the Bucks. You have the Jets and I have New England. That's it. Okay.
I just said it if you were listening to me.
I was listening, but you said it quickly. And I wasn't listening fast enough.
Quickly, clearly, and concisely. I love you, Mother. I will talk to you later.
I love you too. Listen, have a good weekend with Grandpa Bob's.
I will. We will.
Okay.
It'll be
fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There goes Mom, and there are three different. So, the good news here, everybody, is that after this weekend, I will have the lead. That's the good news. You're all celebrating that after this weekend, the rightful owner of this combative back and forth between me and my mother about football bets will be rightfully where it belongs, the ownership of me, not her.
Honestly, it's been a very, very long week of waiting. I just wanted to know that was coming, that you could have the lead. And, here we are on Friday. It was worth the wait.
It was worth the wait.
Wow.
Somebody's at a stoplight right now smiling with the news that I will once again have the lead in this back and forth.
Yeah, that's right. They're probably at what light? Because I'm going to go with, let's see.
I know the light that they're at.
Is it Mahan Cap Circle? Because you'll be at that light for 10 years.
They are not at that light, but they wish they were so they could celebrate and let this marinate a little bit longer before having to push the gas. No, they are at the light on Thomasville Road, just the first light after the Whole Foods.
Okay.
That first light after the Whole Foods, going north.
Yeah, north. Yeah. So they just passed the sub shop, and that left turn can get them over towards the old radio station. Yeah.
It could. Yeah, that's correct. That is right. Yep, that's where they are. And they're thinking right now, how did Jeff know I was here? Man, and I am smiling with the news that he'll be passing his mom in the picks game. And it was just a couple of weeks ago he was down 6. How does he do it? That's what they're thinking at the red light. And now they're going, and he's got my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, and they also think, how do people do it in that parking lot at the Whole Foods? That place, you need to come strapped or with a tank. It's ridiculous. There's no room anywhere.
No, it is absurd. And you just brought up a sore subject. My wife, if I tell her that I'm going over there for anything, like to go grab some food or to go to Whole Foods itself or any reason that I would be over there at all, she's like, oh, I'm not going. And I go, why? That parking lot's ridiculous. They got to do something.
It really is. There are a few parking lots in this town that stand out. That is one that is just unbelievable. The one by the stadium, obviously it's under construction now even more, so it's even less accessible. But before they started on the football-only facility, even then, that little strip, that parking lot, man, it made no sense. Makes less than 0 cents, which is about par for the course for this year.
The one, buddy, the worst parking lot of all is the one that has Trader Joe's. It's got Trader Joe's. It's got an eatery that I can't remember. I think it's one of the. What's the one where you get the bowls that are so good, the tasty bowls, Tom, and you get your protein, whatever they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You don't want to give them any free love, but whatever that one is, that's a good one. And then it's also got a Starbucks. You can't move. You cannot move in there, and it has your old place that you used to work. You never worked there in Tallahassee, but when you were a kid. It's the sandwich place. You're making the subs.
Oh, no, McAllister's? Well, no.
McAllister's.
I worked at Governor Square Mall, McAllister's. Yeah, it's a good-looking spud. That's what my guy would tell me every time I made the big potato. That's a good-looking spud, Tom. I'd eat it. Bring it on out.
I just love that you worked at a McAllister's. I mean, we all had fun jobs, but you worked at the McAllister's. That's
man. Great. The prep cook was where it was at. All you're doing is you're slicing tomatoes and deli meats all day. That is a peaceful existence.
You just put headphones on and do it?
Oh, yeah. You betcha. Yeah. I cut the best tomatoes in town. The most equally cut tomatoes in town. They never broke.
You took pride in your job, and I'm proud of you for it. Hour number 3 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Warning. Amendment 4 overturns Florida's parental consent law, so a minor could undergo an abortion without.
This is G. Deckerhoff. In 1979, my friend Guy Moore opened his first store. Over 45 years later, Garnet and Gold is still providing the Seminole Nation with unique ways to show their spirit. As the last locally owned FSU merchandise source in Tallahassee, we're proud to be a part of the Florida State experience and this community. If you're a Seminole like me, this is your store. Garnet and Gold. Go Noles.
Giving it to radical leftists. Be warned. Amendment 4 is way too extreme and not what it seems. Sponsored by Truth About Amendment 4.
Know your body and transform your life with DexaFit Tallahassee, your go-to for science-backed health insights. Their DEXA scan gives you the most accurate body composition available, measuring bone density, muscle mass, in both subcutaneous and visceral fat. Get the data you need to track progress and make real changes. Your VO2 max is the best indicator of health and longevity, but it offers more than just a number. It shows respiratory function, calories burned at different intensities, and whether your body burns fat or carbs, helping you train smarter. DexaFit's RMR test reveals how many calories you burn at rest and the type of fuel your body uses, so you can dial in your diet for weight loss, muscle gain, or maintenance. And their red light therapy soothes sore muscles, reduces inflammation, and rejuvenates your skin. Right now, get a DEXA scan and red light therapy for just $99. That's a $184 value. Call 850-510-7728 or visit DexaFit Tallahassee's website to book. Know your body and transform your life this fall with DexaFit.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those storm leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark. TSparkConstruction.com.
CCC 1331204.
What will the Noles do to follow up an unconquered 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminole sports in Warchant's Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forums. Enjoy special access to multimedia elements like Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, and Seminole Headlines, plus exclusive forums with FSU student athletes and a members-only discount to Garnet and Gold. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source. Head to Warchant.com and sign up today.
WBFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas. Brought to you by Palmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with two great locations in Tallahassee.
Game 1 of the World Series coming up tonight. The Los Angeles Dodgers with Jack Flaherty on the mound, another 25 favorite against Garrett Cole and the Yankees plus 105. The total has moved from 8 over to 8.5 over. College football tomorrow. Florida State a 3-touchdown underdog at Miami. 54.5 the total at Hard Rock Stadium. Hurricanes have dropped 3 straight to Florida State and 10 of 14 head-to-head meetings. Florida State 1-6, 1-5 of the ACC. UCF 2.5-point home favorites against BYU at FBC Mortgage Stadium, where the total is 53.5. And the Jaguars are a 4-point home dog to the Green Bay Packers Sunday. Cash back for every bet with a G-Bank signature Visa card. VSIN.com/GBank. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
What's better than 1 win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get 1 line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Harmon, you look so twisted. What did you do now?
Well, Hank the alligator needed his teeth brushed, and when I bent over to give him a scrub, my back popped like an afternoon lightning storm in Florida. And now I can't even stand up.
You need to go to FinChiro.com and schedule your new patient appointment right away at FinChiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com.
I'm really busy. I don't want to leave Hank in the orange grove unattended for too long.
Fin Chiropractic will get you in right away, and they get to the cause of your... So, FinChiro.com and make your new patient appointment. There is even an online discount.
Discount? That's a good thing, because my purse is a little light since I bought Hank a new gold chain.
You have to take care of yourself if you want to be able to take care of your alligator, Hank. Make your appointment now. Go to FinChiro.com.
Well, hold my pina colada. I'm going to FinChiro.com.
Time to head out on our annual guys fishing trip. Wait, where's Jimmy?
He just texted me saying he has to swing by his storage unit to get a couple of things. And now there's a truck blocking him in, and he won't be here for another hour.
That wouldn't have happened if he had just called Southeast Portable Buildings and got a unit right on his property.
I love mine. I have so much more space in my garage. Now I can finally park my truck in there.
Give them a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400. Or visit them online for all their options at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Don't miss TSC Tuesdays every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. during the Greg Tish Show. Find out what's happening at Tallahassee State College every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 FM.
Real Talk fact number 44. Burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See, it is also, as I have said each hour, and it will be for the rest of today, Tom's birthday. Happy birthday to Tommy Boy, who turns 38 today. It's going to be a good year, Tom. 37 to 38, not so much. 38 to 39 is going to be a great year. I can already tell.
Oh, really? You're Cameron Damas? Is that what you are?
Cameron Damas can see it. 38 is great for Tom. That's what it says in my head right there. It's going to be a good one.
37 not so special, 38 special. Is that what you're saying?
There it is, as we said yesterday. Yeah. And then I gave you the hold on loosely reference. I do. I feel like 38 is going to be good. It has to be because 37 to 40 I found was a sweet spot. So not that all three of those years were great, but some of the highlights were. So that's what I think it's happening for you. I think it's happening. 38 is going to be the best of the bunch. 39, I don't know. Don't know what to tell you about 39. 38, though, is going to be good.
Well, the best moment will be soon. Usually my low-scoring season on the golf course comes just after football season's over. I'm so excited to play, and I'm razor-sharp focused. The first sub-38 9 holes, at age 38, that's what we're shooting for here. And we're going to get there. But thank you to everybody in the chat. Some people on social media as well that have wished the happy birthday. Not trying to make it about anything other than the show and what it is, but thank you. I see all of your birthday wishes, and they are very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. People care that it's your birthday, buddy. I won't tell them all that you're going to do 16 shots of tequila as soon as the show's over and be blackout drunk. I won't let them have that image in their head.
Yeah, my folks driving around. I got my folks driving around town listening to the station right now. You telling me that they're surprising me with a giant handle of tequila? Is that what's going on?
Well, people don't know. I've never brought it up before that's your tradition every year is to do 16 shots of tequila. I don't know where that started. I never asked you. But
I guess that means that we'll be in line for one weird pregame show tomorrow.
Speaking of which, he just alluded to it. We do have the pregame show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Come hell or high water, buddy. We're doing that pregame show brought to you by Hotel Indigo. We appreciate them very much, partnering with us year in and year out. We thought the marriage would be even more lively when Florida State won every game they played in the regular season last year. Turns out we're just helping each other through it now. It's a sanity session. It's just we look at each other and go, well, it's a nice hotel. Show's doing well. I don't know what to tell you. One of these days we won't suck.
I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to being back out there next Saturday. We don't know what time specifically yet, but as long as it's not a nooner. If it is a nooner, then the food menu is limited. But if it's a 3:30 kick, let's say, the register sausage up there on the 7th floor, man, that always hits. That's a nice way to get the game day going. It is quality. And the way that they do it is it's like a Fenway Frank. They toast the bread and they wrap the bread around it. Oh my goodness. It is that is first class.
I'm excited about it too, and I wish you hadn't brought it up because I'm starving. I did the thing today that I sometimes do, and I never used to, and I don't know why, and I think a lot of adults out there do, probably because we're busy with responsibilities and we get distracted. I do the thing where I get halfway through the show and all of a sudden I feel a little run down. And I'm like, I need to pick me up. Maybe a cup of coffee. It's a little late for coffee. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And then it hit me. The reason I'm run down is I've yet to eat a morsel of food today. And it is now 3:00 in the afternoon and I have not eaten a thing. How dumb is that? How ridiculous is that? And yet I do this once a week, at least.
Yeah, way back in the day at the 4-letter network, I always had a stash of, do you remember what random food item I had a stash of?
Pistachios?
Close. Cashews.
Cashews. Okay, I was close. Yeah.
And you would say, hey, brother, you got any of those cashews lying around?
That's right. Those cashews were great. We also, for some reason, stored large quantities of animal crackers at the old ESPN radio studios. Those animal crackers, you never thought something so bland could be so good, and yet it is. It is something special about an animal cracker, and I don't know why.
It always hits. Now, the problem is, depending upon what brand you get, some of them are kind of powdery, dusty, if you will. And so when you come back from break and you got the dusty animal cracker going on, you have to fight the battle. But the animal crackers always hit. It's because they gave the wrong people, that is you, me, and Alicia, the Sam's Club card. And the animal crackers, they're just right there. The animal crackers are staring you right in the face.
We had a company Sam's Club card at the ESPN station, which is now defunct. Well, the station isn't. You can hear lovely Christian music all day long over there at 97.9 ESPN radio, which is now like Joy FM or something. Anyhow, that is when they sold, when that whole thing went under, and that was the end of that. I was heartbroken because we did, it wasn't illegal or anything like that. We did throw in the animal crackers to all of our trips up to the for the supplies that we needed for the station.
That was the one thing that our business manager down in Fort Pierce would let slide. Otherwise, if you put like 1/10 of 1 gallon of gas too much, you'd get a nasty phone call. And at one point, we all just realized this is a shell game. So what are you going to do about it? Click. And then that was that. But it took a few years to get there.
I'm scheduled to talk to Leonard Hamilton. It looks like I'm going to do so on Wednesday. He'll join us on the program. They played an exhibition basketball game. Boy, I can tell it's the end of the week and I'm tired. The team played and they didn't look good. They did win over St. Leo, which it's a good thing that they did. But, man, that game didn't start well. At the end of the day, Jameer Watkins is really good. I am intrigued by the junior college transfer, the 6'11" kid, the Malik Ewan. I am excited to watch him play. They may have a legitimate center, Tom. They're not playing forwards at center. Yeah, how about that?
If you do that, it would help you with the rebounding, and dare I say, maybe, just maybe. I know you didn't like it. I know I enjoyed it more than most people did. But if you can go back to Hamilton 1.0 in this era, frustrate the hell out of some teams and win a few games 58-52, 62-57, hey, man, whatever it takes right now. Let's not do the thing where we've never done before. When football was bad, basketball was good. Let's not have football awful and basketball awful at the same time. Can we not? I know that Link Jarrett wouldn't be opposed to Tuesday night sellouts at Hauser Stadium. Tickets sold weeks in advance because that's what would happen. People would be so starving for wins that they would look at a Tuesday night against Mercer and they'd say back around Christmas, we better book our tickets now. Let's see, though. Maybe there's a little bit of Leonard Hamilton 1.0 in this group.
You know, if that kid is a legit center, and he looked like it last night, going 8 of 8 with a bunch of dunks, it would be our first legit center, and I just wanted an excuse to bring it up, since Balsa.
Oh,
you forgot about the greatness.
Balsa Steel. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Koprivica.
Yes, Koprivica, and he had the dunk in the ACC tournament in Brooklyn, where we ended up catching the end of SVP Rosillo,
and it was the best. And Florida State won it on a dunk.
Yeah. Maryland just lost on a dunk. Yeah.
That was a beautiful play. But we haven't had a legitimate center since Balsa. And when Balsa decided to leave, remember how devastated we were? We were like, no, you can't leave. Where are you going? Turns out overseas.
Well, we had Kamaje for a minute, and he would steal 5 to 6 minutes a game to start the game.
Yeah, but we've had a bunch of busts is what we've had. Naheem McLeod. Remember him? The other kid, who was the other kid that I'm not remembering now? There was another center. Yeah, you mentioned, by the way, Malik Osborne. We had to do a lot of different things where we're playing guys out of position all the time. It's been very frustrating. I'd like to see a legit center. Ham does his best work when he's got legitimate size. And then you're right. Maybe they end up winning a lot of ugly games. Basketball's in a little bit of trouble. College basketball's in a little bit of trouble. You're watching this kind of college basketball thing fall off the map a little bit, and it's kind of sad to me. It makes me sad when I think about it. Now we're in the midst of football, so I'm not thinking too much about it. I do want to say Go
Real
ahead.
quick, good point. You know what? I crossed eras. Balsa and Boris Bojanovsky. My fault. Forgive me. It was Boris.
Oh, yeah, that was Boris. Yeah, that was Boris. You're right.
Balsa, Boris. My bad.
Yep, that's right. It was Boris. I did want to say this. I don't know if you guys read this at all, but it broke my heart. And the more I read into it, the more I was profoundly sad upon hearing the news yesterday about USF's coach, Amir Abdur-Rahim. I was stunned. He was an up-and-coming superstar in the college game. Just 43 years old, he was undergoing a medical procedure at a Tampa area hospital when he died due to complications that arose. The USF athletic director, our old friend that we once had combative conversations with, USF athletic director Michael Kelly, said all of us with South Florida athletics are grieving with the loved ones of Coach Abdur-Rahim. He was authentic, driven, and his infectious personality captivated all of Bulls Nation. They won 25 games last year in his first season, by the way. They won the regular season American Athletic Conference. USF has been awful for a very long time. The school had never finished 500 in the AAC and had ended above 500 overall just once since 2012. And he comes in and wins 25 games in his first year. He was elected as the AAC Coach of the Year. They were ranked in the top 25 at one time. He was beloved by all. He had been at Kennesaw State, by the way, and he had done amazing things there where they were awful. And that's where his star originally rose as a young coach with Kennesaw State, got them turned around, finished up the conference tournament, and took the USF job. Year one, wins 25 games, married 3 kids, Tom, dead at the age of 43. Rest in peace, sir. That is tragic and difficult. I hated that story yesterday. I don't know why it bothered me. Obviously, it's a horrible story. But the more you read about who he was as a man and who he was and the way he was loved by his players and students and the people in that community and the Kennesaw State community and anybody who came in contact with him, it makes you sick to your stomach when you read it. You're just, damn it. It's the classic, it seems like only the good die young, huh? And you read that, you go, good God, there are a lot of people I'd like to see dead, not him.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's much like the Johnny Gaudreau conversation from a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And how there's a certain extra tinge of sadness, of grief in people's voices when they're speaking on somebody that they know to be a good person. You know, there's an extra you can feel it. There's something in their throat, the way that they communicate, and some of the things that I've seen paying tribute in the immediacy of this tragic loss, they carry that kind of tone, and it makes you sad because we're humans. We feel for each other, and that's. I don't even know how they're going to get into their exhibition schedule, their early schedule for the season. It's because on the eve of the season beginning as well. That's got its own set of baggage, and it's just I'm so sorry to hear that news. And we got a lot of people down in Tampa that we know that are affiliated with USF as well. We extend our well wishes as much as we can. Our hearts go out to you.
Yeah, you don't know where to go with a story like that, and it usually is a segment ender, and it will be here. But you're right. The logistics of this too, in addition to obviously the humanity of it, is what stands out first and foremost. And today there are kids who've lost a father and a wife who lost a husband, and then you extend from there, of course. But you're right, Tom. Like, how does USF as a program, those players, imagine trying to play this season? They'll say they're playing it for him, and they most certainly will give that kind of effort, I'm sure. But I don't know how you're not a little hollow walking around at least early on in this season, sort of directionless, because that guy was everything to that program. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Pinch A Penny Pools has the largest selection of premium hot springs hot tubs in the city. You might even call it Tallahassee's Hot Tub Hub. 12,000 square feet of hot tubs, with over 50 of them on site. Over 20,000 gallons of tub capacity to choose from. That's 4,620,000 cubic inches of hot tubs. But I digress. So why should you own a hot tub from Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. Number one, health benefits, of course. The healing powers of soaking in a hot bubbling pool of water go back centuries. Google it. Number two, Pinch A Penny has hot tubs with technology called Freshwater IQ. It gives you real-time chemical readings and tells you exactly what to add to keep the water at peak perfection, with automated analysis to help you control the chlorine and pH. It's hot tubs for dummies. Sign me up. Number 3, they have the best prices, of course. Plus, you get a free accessory and no interest financing. Easy peasy. But if you don't want to take my word for it, check them out yourself. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. Locally owned, locally operated, and the easiest way to find relaxation at home.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. This Halloween season, guess who will be hiding under the bed? People that sell new compact cars, SUVs, and trucks. That's who. They're scared to death of Nissan's 2024 lineup. The reports are in. The new look Sentra is absolutely the best looking car you can buy for under $25,000. And the Nissan Titan is the only pickup truck on the market with 0% for 60 months and up to $8,000 off. Forbes Magazine, Wheels Division, test drove Nissan Frontier and Toyota Tacoma in head-to-head competition. Their conclusion was that the winner for driving and handling was the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, hands down. And in an even scarier review, HotCars.com stated that the Nissan Rogue is one of the best-looking compact SUVs on the market. So if you drive an SUV or a truck, don't be afraid. Come test drive the best. Test drive a Nissan at Kraft. You see, in the midst of Halloween season, just like the rest of the year, Tallahassee's not a scary town. It's a Nissan town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive in Tallahassee, or visit us at craftnissan.com.
When I get home, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas and put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up some fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, DebtBlue is here for you. With DebtBlue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it. And the team at DebtBlue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Time for the Red Zone. Thankfully, we are always ready for the Red Zone on Fridays, thanks to our friends at Artisan Financial Strategies. My man, Adam Tolliver. Man, you won't meet a more passionate, knowledgeable, diehard Knoll than Adam Tolliver, and it's been a tough year. We've talked plenty about it, but I will say this. If you were to meet him, and you were to meet him, by the way, for his expertise, he and his fine friends at Artisan Financial Strategy, you'd be happy. You'd be very happy. You guys could talk about that instead of talking about Florida State. 30-plus years of planning experience, world-class resources. Go to KnollRetirement.com, and if you do, as I've mentioned before, you'll see building a winning game plan, scoring in the retirement red zone, a little video that tells you all about what they do, smart decisions for yourself and your family. You can join their email list and get a free retirement readiness assessment, all that good stuff. Cue it up, Tommy. Let's make it happen.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright.
It's no good.
You have entered
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
It's good to know.
Still makes me laugh. The good to know at the end still makes me laugh. All right, Tommy, what are we doing for first down of FSU Miami week?
All right, first down will be over under 13.5 touches for Lawrence Toafili.
Oh, wow. Under.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? He'll get into a rhythm. He'll have 3 touches for 22 yards, and you feel like you're moving the ball, and then he won't be on the field the rest of the drive.
It's very strange. Very strange. They aren't able to sustain a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Second down, over under 3. I'm not going to give you a hook, so you can say push. Over under 3 drives for Luke Kromenhawk.
Push.
Push, right on the number. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
no, really? Really quick, let's extrapolate. Do you really believe that he'd have more than 3 drives? Because it feels like if he did, we may just be going to him.
Well, here's the thing, is we haven't really had a talk about this. Maybe it's for the remainder of today or tomorrow's pregame show. But Mike clearly, I saw somebody in the chat say this yesterday too, but Mike clearly, when he speaks about Luke Kromenhawk,
lights up.
He's putting his future in the hands of Luke Kromenhawk. He lights up. He speaks on him a different way. There's a different level of enthusiasm. I don't think it's just about he is an upper tier blue chipper out of high school. I think it's Mike Norvell believes that's the guy who he's going to have to ride or die with here in the near future. So that would be a reason why I would handicap it and move that drive count up to 3.
Well, I think both could be true. I think he does believe that about Luke. I think he really likes Luke a lot. I think he's also working to make sure that Luke doesn't decide to transfer at the end of this disastrous year. I also think that he has to be kind of careful, though. I think he wants to ease him into that role. It's fascinating. You know, you could just rip the Band-Aid off and say, screw it, you're my guy. Now, you do it. If you do it, you lost Brock, but he might be willing to lose Brock, and that's fine. He might just say, okay, well, look, I would encourage you to stay. I want you to compete for the job. I'm not saying for certain that it's Luke's no matter what, but I feel like right now he gives us a better chance to win or whatever it might be, whatever he wants to say. I'm sure Brock would hear none of this and be taking it on down the road because he's the older of the 2 players, and he would have lost the job to a freshman, and I'm sure he would be quick to decide to take it on down the line. He's got some tools, too. Brock will end up playing somewhere if he does leave. And if in fact, we think that Mike is going to, at some point, push more for Luke than Brock. But I agree with those who think that he sounds a little bit extra, energized when he talks about Luke.
Yeah, and we've all been in work settings where there's that one employee that the boss likes, and so everybody's reporting on their week, and then it comes to Jimmy's turn. Jimmy, tell us about your week. And like, oh wow, well this guy's lighting up about Jimmy, and Jimmy hasn't done anything in 3 weeks, but for some reason Jimmy has him hoodwinked. Your superior. Come on, dude. Oh well, that's all right, Jimmy. Keep working. All right, everybody else, let's get it together. Jimmy clearly he's got a track record here.
And Jimmy gets extra time, too, so you have to hear him prattle on. You're like, Jimmy, you didn't do a damn thing. We're just sitting here listening to you ramble on about nothing.
Yes, and when Jimmy makes a joke, the boss laughs in an uncomfortable way. Like, you're like, okay,
what's going on here? Yeah,
you ever heard him laugh like that? He only laughs like that when Jimmy talks.
Bizarre.
Third down, over under 2.5 empty possessions for Miami's offense in the first half.
Oh, you threw the caveat at the end. You said the first half because I would have gone over. Under. Under.
All right.
I mean, who amongst us doesn't see them coming out and moving the football pretty quickly? By the way, these boys better care about this game. And I don't mean it in the sense that it's a rivalry game. You have to care. You have to be passionate. You have to play with fervor and energy and fight and all that. That's all true. But they got a running back in Martinez that if you don't want to be there, you're going to be made to look like a fool. That is a big, strong man who has a relatively easy time running over people who are attempting to tackle him. If you half-ass it and go in there with anything short of ill intentions, he is going to run you over.
Yes. Also, speaking of half-assing, if their quarterback decides to lollygag his way out of bounds, run sideways,
take him out.
I don't care if it's a half step late. Nope, we're not doing that. We are not doing that, because the moment I let up, and here would be my defense on the podium. The moment I let up, did you see Mahomes run against the 49ers last weekend? The moment I let up, he'll cut back inside and get another 10 yards because I decide to pull off the gas. We are going full steam. He can be an adult and run out of bounds instead of walking out of bounds.
By the way, this is something that is applicable not just to him, to really any of the scrambling quarterbacks or quarterbacks that can run, any quarterback that can run. I have said this forever. You know how I feel about all of these calls on the sidelines where just because people jump up and down, officials feel the need to throw a flag because somebody gets hit before they're out of bounds. They're close to out of bounds, but they're not out of bounds, and they go flying into the bench. And every coach and every player jumps up like it's the end of the world on a perfectly legal hit. But the officials constantly, got to throw the flag there. That was unnecessary, and they hide behind the unnecessary. Look, man, to Tom's point, we've all seen it. Tons of guys have taken liberty with that rule. And I'll tell you what, you remember when Pitt's quarterback did the fake slide? What's his face, who was a bum with the Steelers? Anyhow, he did the fake slide, then took off and ran. No, man. This is why it's almost impossible to play defense. And it's also why if it's bang, bang, and I've already started my dive, and you do the fake, you're going to get blown up. You're going to get blown up, and officials just need to understand it's the game. It's a violent game. That's the way it works. If you don't want to get blown up, get the hell up out of the pocket, or get out of bounds. Don't half step, and your man half steps all the time with it. So I'm with you. I would get penalized, and it would be a launch into the neck area.
I don't know that I would go up high, but I would get penalized.
I would. You're going to stand straight up and walk out of bounds. You're getting pummeled.
I'd rather the ribs, but okay, fair enough. Either way, you need to send a message that
collarbone area,
just a little lower. That way, it's not targeting as well.
I'm not trying to hit his head. Just trying to break his collarbone.
When you said neck area, I feel like you were targeting. I think that's what you're getting at.
You think that, but you've got to look at it closely. It's very close.
This is how plausible deniability gets argued in the disciplinary hearing.
Very close. Very close.
Fourth down will be in non-garbage time. Do we exceed or fail to reach? In other words, over or under 16 and a half points. 16 and a half points in
non-garbage time?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to define garbage time, sir?
Well, you know it when you see it.
Yeah, like pornography. But I would tell you that that's tough because is it garbage time if you're down 17 in the fourth?
Yeah.
With 10 minutes to play?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's garbage time. It's close.
It's garbage time.
I still think it's garbage time.
17? I'm trying to get to 17. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get to 17 total. If I'm down 17, that's garbage time.
I know I have a scoring, I think, more than 17 at some point. Did I have 51-20? No, I think I have 51-17. I think that's you did it. I can't remember what I said on the report. It's something like that. Under.
Okay.
We're just not going to be able to block them, man. We're just not going to be able to block them. It's heartbreaking.
Bonus down. The best moment will come from where. So you can give me a phase of the game. You can give me a player. Give me a place that you're going to go. Okay.
All right. Mario's right, by the way.
Greater than 21 with 6 minutes left.
Yeah. That's garbage time.
Maybe in a Big 12 game. I don't know.
Not 17, buddy. Not 17.
We can't score 21. So what are we talking about?
You don't know that. The comeback's about to start. You don't know. You don't know it's happening. Gonna happen. They're letting their guard down, and we're firing it around. What was the last bonus question? I missed it. I was just.
It was a happy thoughts. Where is the happy moment going to come from? We go, whoa, well, at least he made a play.
Oh, I think Brock and Luke will both make a play that makes us happy. I think we'll see both quarterbacks make a play where we say, all right, okay, they're still fighting. They're still competing. That's a great throw. It's a good read. Executed that properly. That's a good run. Something like that. I think we'll see something from both young quarterbacks that will make us happy. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. I think we're going to be buried in an avalanche of points the other way. I think that we're not going to have a lot of memories to take from this game that we say are happy memories as you described them. But I do think that there'll be a couple plays by the two young quarterbacks. They're gutsy. They're tough.
The final one, and this is not a down. This is just a confidence level or a probability level. Hog Watcher says hour number 4 incoming. So for those that don't know, I found this out last night for the first time. Apparently, if we win, I'm working an extra hour every day next week on the show, and so are you, because we're going to bask in the glow in a victory hour, a 4th hour, Monday through Friday. Percentage chance we have a 4th hour Monday through Friday next week?
0. 1%, 2% chance. It's very low. I don't think it's happening. But man, it'd be the best 4 hours of radio we've ever done. We would be, well, first of all, it'd be the first 4 hours of radio you and I have done in a regular work day. We did do the Camathon.
Yes, there was the Camathon, or we could call Malarin one of those days because he's a veteran of the 4 hour. He knows what that's like.
It got weird back in the day when we would do 4 hours. That was ridiculous.
Sure
I don't even know how the hell I did that. That was nuts. I was a much younger man, and I didn't have enough what for yet to walk in and say, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing 4 hours anymore. But after a few ratings books, when we were scoring, I finally walked in and went, I'm not doing 4 hours anymore. This is ridiculous. I'm not doing it. And they were like, well, we would like, I don't care. I'm not doing 4 hours. And then it was like, but I didn't, for a couple of years, they took advantage of me just out here doing 4 hours. It's like Jerry's telethon out here. We're just doing hour upon hour upon hour. Groggy eyed. Needed amphetamines. It was a terrible time.
Let's go to Roy on Centerville Road. Roy, how's it going on Centerville Road right now? It's kind of backed up. Hey, thank you, Roy. We appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Roy. We also appreciate our friends at Artisan Financial Strategies. Go check them out today. Really, really good at what they do. Noretirement.com to learn more. Some of you have reached out and said that you did that. I'm glad that you did. I hope more of you do, just because their expertise is greatly appreciated, and their fellow Noles. Adam is as diehard as they come. Chef Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now, here's your Paul's Termite and Pest Control Tallahassee weather report.
Nice weather continues, staying dry and sunny through the weekend. High temperatures in the mid to upper 80s with lows in the upper 50s to 60s. Perhaps a little cooler to start off next week. Tonight, clear, low near 60. Sunny on Saturday and Sunday with highs near 88, lows in the 60s. Again on Monday with a high of 83. From Real Talk 93.3, this is Danielle Kelly.
For the elimination of termites, pests, and for a greener lawn too, call Paul's. They'll get them all.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Homeowners, this is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I want to talk to you today about consolidating your debt. Are you struggling with your monthly expenses? Consumer spending and overall debt are reaching all-time highs, while homeowners are sitting on trillions of dollars in untapped equity in their homes. Don't be afraid to walk away from that 2% mortgage while you're paying double-digit interest rates on credit cards and lines of credit and drowning in debt. Let's talk about how we can consolidate your debt, lower your overall monthly payments, and potentially save you thousands of dollars in the process. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. Again, 954-369-6171. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I'm at 954-369-6171.
Equal housing NMLS number 373031.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves, but don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness, 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road, and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
What's that for, Tom?
Oh, just because. Closing in on a game that used to mean something, but it doesn't this week. Hopefully, though, we get the surprise. I'm just hoping you get into that second quarter and it's 7-3. You're like, well, okay, it's 7-3. You can start to feel the crowd stirring a little bit.
I hope you're right. By the way, I did want to say that Mario made me laugh during the break. Remember you had Charo in the studio. I used to back in the 4-hour days, I used to get asked to do these crazy interviews. And I interviewed, unfortunately, I interviewed the child molester that was, what's his face from Subway.
Jared.
Yeah. Interviewed Fat Jared from Subway. And his big thing was when he came to town, he would do these interviews, and they made me do this one. And he would hold up his pants that he used to wear, those old pants. And I was like, why am I interviewing Jared? Well, Subway paid. We need you to interview Jared. I'm like, what am I going to ask him about? All I want to ask him is, how'd you let yourself get so fat? And they're like, well, don't ask that. Ask him about the sub diet that he was on.
Ask him about, does he have Bengals +7? What do you think about the Bengals this week, Jared? Go ahead.
Yeah, been great. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to answer that one. Noel, Cal, Kev, thank you. Fellas, beers on me. Hypothetical. The era of universities handcuffed by the Jimmy Sextons of the world has ended. You have been hired to negotiate a new contract for the next FSU head coach. What message do we send? In terms of who I bring in, is that what he's asking? Is that the message I'm sending?
I don't know. Is he talking about non-guaranteed contracts? Is he talking about incentive-laden contracts? It could be a lot of
that answer's easy. Yeah, is that we expect to win. We expect, I don't know how you want to do it. Is it a 3-year rolling average of 9 wins a year, 10 wins a year?
It's funny you say that. I would have a 1-strike, 4-loss rule. You can have a 4-loss season, but if you have back-to-back 4-loss seasons, you're automatically out, and the rest of your deal is done. It's our option. Now we can say no to that, but we have the option.
Based on what happened on the field, we can decide whether or not it was a legit year fall into pieces, or oh man, really unlucky these 2 years. Yeah,
8-4, no good, my man, no good.
You know what's interesting? That subject has come up before. It's a big subject. Is what do you expect moving forward in this era of college football? And I'm not entirely certain that anybody really knows what to expect. What is the new normal? And if you're trying to figure out moving forward what you expect out of Mike Norvell and this program, and really any program for that matter, what is the low bar? What is it you're expecting? What is the What is the bare minimum? Well, certainly you have to have winning seasons. Let's just start there. We're not going to have losing seasons. You're not in a position to retain your job if you're out here having losing seasons. So that's the bare minimum. You got to win 7 games. That's very low bar to obtain. But from there it gets interesting, because I do think, and I've just gotten done all week long talking about, look, I think we're entering into an era of really weird swings from season to season. That the disparate type seasons where we're watching a team win 11 games and then win 8, and then win 11 again and then win 7. And then, I think we're going to see that. You just don't need to be out here going from 13-0 to 2-10.
Right. That's the whole thing is, you could have gotten it wrong about optimism, and we all did about this season. But I mean, this isn't about realism versus optimism. This is about failure versus optimism. This is about unforeseen levels of failure versus about optimism. Like if they finished 8-4 and, a couple of those wins were kind of lucky, and you're like, my God, we could have been 6-6. That's a moment for a more honest conversation about, well, how did you guys get this team so wrong? When you're staring at 2 or 3 wins, that is so far outside the realm of what was considered to be possible this year that in a non-Jimmy Sexton era would be a clause. Like I said yesterday or the day before, like there'd be a performance clause, a for-cause clause, that if you can't win 3 games, like, my man, we have the option. Now, we might say no, we might say yes, but you have opened yourself up to all of these guarantees being taken away, because how in God's name do you go from 13 to 2?
None of it makes any sense. Tom's mic and internet was going kind of in and out there for a little squirrely there, Tom, at the end. But yeah, I don't know how he has opened the door for all of these criticisms. He has gotten to a place where, like I said yesterday, I think he recognizes this is absolutely indefensible. I think he knows that they're in an awful spot. I am curious. I have my doubts as to whether or not he can get this turned around. That's the more interesting conversation. We all recognize this for what it is. There's no debate about that. Not even the most forgiving amongst Florida State fans are okay with what's happened. You can not be okay and still think that he deserves to come back. You can be somebody who's completely reasonable and think that he deserves to be fired. I think both those things are true. You can think that. I have not fired back at people who are of the mindset that he should be fired. I mean, there have been times in the past when people have said, like, when he was in year 2 and you have some moments where you go, ooh, I don't know. I was always quick to say, well, let's wait and see. It's on the heels of back-to-back, the ending of one era in which the head coach stopped recruiting and the locker room was poisoned. You entered into another era that never really got started because of a lack of organization and connection, and there were all kinds of problems in the brief stint that Willie was here. And so when he took over, you were really trying to lift it was the heavy burden of reshaping a culture, changing a locker room, trying to get players in and win some football games simultaneous, and you had a COVID season. So I forgave some of the really bizarre moments that we saw in those first 2 years, and I think rightfully so. But no, man, this is ridiculous, and we have certainly harped on that, rightfully so. It would be our job to do so. I don't know if he can fix it, and my dad doesn't like to hear that. My closest friends don't like to hear that when they say, "Well, you think he can fix it, right?" I'm not real sure. Not real sure my man can fix it. I know they're going to give him a chance to, but I'm not real sure he can.
I think he can. I just don't know that he will. I think it's within the scope of his abilities as a coach to do it. I don't think it's impossible, because if it was impossible, then we would be discussing this issue very differently, because you would just feel defeated. The way you feel about the game tomorrow is how you'd feel about not just tomorrow's game, but the remainder of these and all of next year's football games. I don't feel that way, for the reasons that you've stated about the nature of college football itself, having the ability to quickly turn around and go from the bottom barrel to a team that might not be atop the top 5 of the country, but competitive for a playoff spot, a top 20 program. Like, that's the nature of the sport that we live in now. But he has also done it. Now, the tools that got him from the first 0-4, the first horrid place to present day, everybody uses them now. Everybody uses the portal. It was a novel thing. He's going to have to find a different method or just get really stinking good at evaluating the portal, where last year we were not. You're going to have a much higher hit rate in the portal this year to have a chance to compete for something next year.
I wonder what about his evaluation process. Like, we look big picture organization. You can look at, everybody in the building, the analysts, football operations, obviously the coaches. You have to look at yourself. You've got to go about this process and recognize that things have to change. And I wonder what he'll look at as being the biggest change. Is it the way that he involves himself in recruiting and player evaluation? Is it surrounding himself as he fires coaches with coaches that can recruit, coaches that are known commodities on the recruiting trail? And then he can worry solely about the teaching and the X's and O's or whatever it might be. Or is it that because I would want to scour the process to see where I screwed up. And I would need somebody other than me, whom I trusted implicitly, to come in and be involved in that process. And I would tell him what I found about myself. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do. But I would also ask, because we all have blind spots. We all have blinders. We all do not see ourselves the way that others do. We do not see some of the foibles we're guilty of and the character traits that maybe we don't know in ourselves that are annoying to others, or if not annoying, something that, people don't like in us or about us. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like I'm not saying you're immoral or anything like that. I'm saying that there's something about the way you go about your job that people think could be better. And I would want somebody that I trusted and I knew had my best interest in mind to come in and tell me, hey, you got to start doing this, man. I've wanted to say this for a while, but you were having success and it's not my place, but you're in a dark place now. And I'm going to try to help you get out of this. Here's what I think. Take it for what it is. But I think you got to do this, this, and this. And I've thought about it a lot, and we've done this analysis, and this is what we've come to the conclusion of. I wonder what he's going to do.
Yeah, well, I think the easiest way to communicate that you're failing in high school recruiting is that the portal tells you how much you believe in the kids you have on your roster, right? Like, the portal is a good indicator of how much you've succeeded either in evaluation or talent development, whatever those two things mean to you. Like, that's a good barometer. And that you lost so many of the players that you lost last year. And you felt you needed to go in and grab as many, the sheer size of the transfer portal class that came in. I mean, think about it. At every level of this team, defensive line, several dudes at defensive end, a couple of guys defensive interior. You brought in a couple linebackers, corner, slot corner, a safety, a receiver, another younger receiver. You brought in 2 offensive linemen that you knew were going to start for you at guard, 1 reserve offensive lineman that was going to be maybe a center or guard in the near future, running back, quarterback. I mean, every position, essentially, at every level, you are saying to yourself, the head of high school recruiting, that we're not doing a good enough job that I can just hand it off to the kids that I recruited 2 cycles ago and 3 cycles ago. I need to go bring in a dozen new players. That would be the way to communicate it and say, you think you're doing well enough in recruiting? Then why the hell do you feel that you have to go grab this many players right here, right now, after sending so many to the NFL? Why did you not have solutions in-house, at least for half of these slots on the roster?
Yeah, agreed. And you could always point out that you've been out-recruited by teams that have been 500 or below 500 in your own state. You've been out-recruited by Florida. You've been out-recruited by Miami. And you just had an undefeated season. Why are they out-recruiting you and you have an undefeated season? Why can't you cash in that undefeated season to the tune of something better than number 12 in terms of recruiting rankings? Like, that's the best you've ever done here. You've never cracked the top 10. Not once. It's Florida State, pal. this was a top 10 recruiting machine and is when it's operating at peak efficiency. It can't happen that we're fighting like hell to crack the top 15, top 20. Currently well beyond that. We're outside of that. Now, this season is a big part of that. But, my man, you came into this year with only, 11 commits, verbal commits? You had 11? And you went undefeated last year? Why? Where are all the kids, 5-star kids, knocking down the door to come to a program that is clearly ahead of everybody else in the state? Well, they weren't knocking on your door, were they?
Yeah, that's the part. Before you started losing this year and everybody's eyes were open to what we were actually going to watch, it could have and should have been a top 5 class. Like, a top 5 class that fell apart, it would have 100%. Yeah. But that, you're going through May and June and July and you're like, hey, man, where are these yeses coming from? We're going to get a little wave of yeses in here, some commits. So we see the path to getting into a top 8, top 6, top 5 class. But those guys aren't in-house right now saying that they're on board with a team that's won 23 out of 26 games. Like they're not there. And that's a very difficult thing to reconcile. The other thing is maybe the answer is it's just the nature of going into the portal. Like as a baseball player, well, why did I strike out this at bat? I just hit a home run last time. Well, that's baseball. You're not supposed to hit a home run every time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the answer. But maybe not when it comes to evaluation in the portal. Why did I hit on so many kids the first couple of go-arounds? How did I hit on so many kids the first couple of go-arounds? And what changed between that cycle versus this most recent cycle?
We know some changes that did occur in-house, and we do know some of the coaches that were here on the staff as analysts and others did leave. They have gone elsewhere. And were those the guys doing the hard, heavy lifting? Were those? You have to ask yourself that. That's a fair thing. You have to.
Only he knows.
By the way, special offer right now for my friends at Cornbread Hemp. You can get gummies, and you can get 30% off of these organic THC gummies, USDA organic THC gummies. I've got them at the house now. Lovely vibe, laid back, not too much. You're not crazy. You're just chill, and there are no crazy ingredients in these things. It is all organic. Enjoy your carefree happy hour. For my listeners, cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use promo code warchant at checkout. Get 30% off. cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use code warchant for 30% off. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., pregame show. We'll do it up. Me and T. Lizzie. Happy birthday, Tom. Always a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, brother.
To all of you, yeah, absolutely. And to all of you guys, thanks so much. We will talk to you tomorrow morning. Be well. Have a great weekend. And as always, go Noles.